Yeah, y'all. This room on Monday. I was gonna give it a couple days to marinate before we got into the prophets, but kind of, kind of seemed necessary. We gotta get away from all that strife and shit, y'all. 'Cause we know we gonna have differences with people and shit, but I mean, sometimes it get a little too heated for no reason. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have differences here and there. It's all good, y'all. We ain't gotta go to war over the shit like that. Part of being, part of being separated, consecrated, not only if you are on the vow, but we also gotta be separated, or spirit wise. Like if other people are acting a certain way, we gotta also be in mind. We gotta act separately. Also, we can't act like other if like we don't agree with people and shit. You know, just keep that in mind. Shalom, Divine.
Shalom, brother. Listen, I agree with everything you just said. Right? I don't know what the topic is, but the words itself are wise. But let me and greetings to Tori who's on here, and I see Isaac and Menelik in the chat. Menelik, you're gonna hear something. Got something good. I highlighted it for you, just for you, in in Isaiah today. And we have scattered in Ayah. Yeah, I wants to say greetings to everybody. Shalom to everybody who's here, not here, who will be here. But Saul, I want to pick on you, man, for a second. Can I pick on you for a second?
You wanna pick on me?
Yeah. Okay, I want to vent. I want to vent, and you're here, so
Oh, you
yeah.
sound like you wanna bully me or something.
No, I don't want to bully you. I just want to vent. Are you willing to accept my venting? You are the cause of my venting, so you better accept it.
Vent away.
It's all good. No, it was funny because when I was up this morning, I'm doing my studies, and then I know you usually have the readings in the evenings around 7. And so when I saw you had a reading at 1, I got everything prepared, did what I had to do, and it's like 1 o'clock came, and it's like nothing. And it's like I feel like I was like suspending in air, like, okay, I'm gonna is what they call gravity gonna pull me down, or am I gonna be floating up? And then I saw your next message. It was like 3 o'clock, so it was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go do this, and 3 o'clock. I'm ready. Then I was there for 3, and then nothing. Then 7 o'clock came again. I said 7 o'clock. I said, you know what? Yeah, this has got to be it, because usually it's around 7 o'clock it starts, and this is it. And then I found you and another. I said, let me follow and see what the topic was about. But uh, I left after a bit because I just wanted the Torah. So for me, that's my vent. Is you stood me up scripturally, you stood me up 3 times, so technically 4 today. So that's my vent. There, I said it. I got it off my chest. And I'm glad you're here. And we have the room open.
Better late than never, though.
God.
Yeah, I was gonna do it earlier, but then I noticed nobody was really on, so I was like, let's push it later, and then blah blah blah. It just came up. Then I was gonna push it to Monday just to, but nah, we here. It's all good. Um, can I
Con-
first? Yeah, Tori, you can start. If you could do 4 chapters, you can take 4.
Can I just make can I just say something before we start reading, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, I just wanted to remind us that we just read in the last couple of days, we read Kings 1 and Kings 2. And as we were reading it, we we read about Isaiah in Second Kings and what was going on with Ahaz, um, Hezekiah's father. So and then Uzziah during this time. So during Isaiah's time, at this time, Uzziah passed away, and then you got the Jotham, and then Isaiah is dealing with not just Ahaz, but but Hezekiah, who comes after, basically afterwards. That's his son. And yesterday, remember, we were reading and we saw what was going on with all the chaos with the northern kingdom. And then we saw when the scripture says what we were reading yesterday, the Syrian kingdom was becoming powerful. That, like, this is where the Assyrian empire started to grow, and they're spreading out and they're conquering. So at this time, you had them coming, and they were coming up strong now, and they're reaching the territory, as we were reading yesterday, of Syria and and the northern kingdom, which Syria bordered the northern kingdom's territory. And what happened? Remember, the scripture told us, we were reading that they made a deal. Well, who is it? Pekah, the king of the northern kingdom and the king of Syria. They made a deal to unite so they can defend themselves against Syria. And they went now to Ahaz and asked him, hey, unite with us against the Assyrian Empire that's coming up strong and just taking over everything. And Ahaz said no, right? We read that. And then what did the northern kingdom do? With the Assyrian Empire, they went and made a deal and came down and attacked the northern kingdom. I mean, attacked Judah. They attacked Ahaz when he's in control at this time. And now, what I brought all of this up to say, we have to keep in mind now. Isaiah, we read about Isaiah yesterday in Second Kings. Now we're about to read Isaiah. So this is when Isaiah is in the point of this whole mess that's going on there. And the problem is, Isaiah, before it happened, Yah had already gave a prophecy to Isaiah to give to Ahaz, telling him about the firstborn son, Sheal Sheal Yashub, right? Which means there will be a remnant, you know. No, a remnant. Shall is remnant, and Yashub is return. A remnant shall return. And when we read it, we're gonna. So we got that from Second Kings, First Kings, and Second Kings. So what I want to do is, like, say, I don't want anybody to lose what we've been going through and the picture and the scenery, where Isaiah is at this time, what he's dealing with, what the northern kingdom, what they teamed up with the Syrians to do, with Aram to do against the southern kingdom. And then the second prophecy, what Yah had gave with the second son, his second son, what's his name? Mahed Shalal Hashbaz. That second son was the prophecy to, and again, we read this yesterday. That prophecy was the second prophecy, which he had told Ahab that Yah is going to give help. Since they did that, Yah is going to send someone to take them out, loot them, and strip them and conquer them swiftly, rapidly. Right? But what did we read yesterday in the book of Kings? What did Ahab do? Instead of listening to the words from the prophet Yashia, Isaiah, instead of listening to his words, what did he do? He went, we read it yesterday. Remember, we were like, He went in what? Got scared and just made himself a vassal and started, okay, and started paying tributes, and giving up all our gold. We saw a lot of that happen. Just paying tributes, like basically volunteered to be a vassal to the Syrians. And then we read what happened after. So now we get into the Hezekiah. So the thing is, that letter, those two sons being born during the time of Kings, It was to match what was going to happen. Yah had already plotted out. I'm going to have the Assyrians take care of the northern kingdom, he said, and Syria for coming after Judah. But what, because Ahab didn't he didn't listen to Isaiah. And what did he do? We read it yesterday, guys. What did he do? What did freaking Ahaz do? Ahaz, since they came after him, Syria and the northern kingdom, Ahaz went now and what? Made a pact with Assyria. And then Assyria went now, and what did they do? Assyria took out the northern kingdom. That's when he did the, hey, take y'all, put y'all from here over there in Babylon, which I already conquered over there, and then take some of them Babylonians and put them over here, and da da da. That's what he did, right? So I just reading that yesterday. Uh, 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 um, he did that. So now Isaiah, the whole thing is, if Ahab had just listened to Isaiah, which we're gonna find out, is like, yo, y'all already had the Assyrians to pay back, Syria and the northern kingdom for what they did to you. But since you went and teamed up with them, hey, you get this. But look at the shit you gotta pay for it because you went. Because now look what these Syrians are gonna come and do to you and everything else. So yeah, I just sorry if I was long-winded, but I wanted us to keep in mind that whole scenery what we read the last 2 days, and we have to put Isaiah there, and maybe we can probably understand a little bit better what's going on with the names of the two sons and what it meant for the destruction upon not just Syria and the northern kingdom, but Judah because of what Ahaz did and his decision to team up with the Assyrian Empire. So, with that being said, I'll mute.
Hey, you good to go, Tori?
Oh yeah, just had to get this cup of water. Throat be getting sure that throat don't get dry. Peace and shalom to everybody. All right, here we go.
Peace and
Book of
shalom.
Isaiah, chapter 1. Or was you gonna say something, Divine?
No, I said peace and shalom to you too, brother.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. The vision of Isaiah, son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Most High has spoken. Children have I raised and exalted, but they have rebelled against me. An ox knows its owner, and a donkey its master's troughs. But Israel does not know, my people does not comprehend. Woe, a sinful nation, a people weighed down by iniquity, evil offsprings, the children, corrupt children. They have forsaken Yahweh. They have angered the Holy One of Israel, and they have turned their back on him. For what have you been smitten? Yet you continue to act perversely. Each head is smitten with sickness, each heart with infirmity. From the sole of the foot to the head, nothing in him is whole, only injury, bruised and festering wounds. They have not been treated, and they have not been bandaged, and the wound has not been softened with oil. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. As for your land, strangers consume it. Its yield in your perverse. It is as desolate as it overturned by foreigners. The daughters of Zion is left like a booth in a vineyard, like a lodging hut in a field of gourds, like a city besieged. Had not the Most High left us a trace of a remnant, we would have been like Sodom, we would have resembled Gomorrah. Hear the word of the Most High, O chiefs of Sodom. Give ear to the teaching of our God, O people of Gomorrah. Why do I need numerous sacrifices? Says the Most High. I am sated with elevations, offerings, or rams, and the fat of fatlings, the blood of bulls, sheep, and goat. I do not desire. When you come to appear before me, who sought this from your hand, to trample my courtyards? No longer shall you bring a worthless meal offering. It is smoke of abomination to me. As for the new moon and Sabbath, and your calling of a convocation, I cannot abide mendacity with solemn assembly. My soul detests your new moons and your appointed times. They have become a burden upon me.
See?
I am, what's that, Big Mike?
I said, see, that was because they was doing wickedness.
That's right. I am weary of, of bearing them. When you spread your hands in prayer, I will hide my eyes from you. Even if you were to intensify your prayer, I will not listen. Your hands are filled with blood. Wash yourselves, purify yourselves. Remove the evils of your deeds before my eyes. Cease doing evil. Learn to do good. Seek justice. Vindicate the victim. Render justice to the orphan. Take up the grievance of the widow. Come now, let us reason together, says the Most High. If your sins are like scarlet, they will become white as snow. If they have become red as crimson, they will become white as wool. If you are willing and obey, you will eat the goodness of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you will be devoured by the sword. For the mouth of the Most High has spoken. How the faithful city has become a harlot. She has been full of just She has been full of justice, righteousness lodged in her, and now murderers. Your silver has become dross, your heady wine diluted with water. Your princes are rebellious as associates of thieves. Each of them loves bribery and pursues payment. They do not render justice to the orphan. The grievance of the widow does not come to them. Therefore, the word of the Lord, the Most High, mighty one of Israel. Oh, I shall appease of my adversaries, and I shall avenge myself of my enemies. I will turn my hand against you until I refine your dross as you lie, and I remove all your base metal. Then I will restore your judges at first, and your counselors at the beginning. After that, you will be called City of Righteousness, faithful. Zion will be redeemed through justice, and those who return to her through righteousness. But calamity awaits rebels and sinners together, and those who forsake the Most High will perish, for they will become ashamed of the idolatrous elms that you desire, and you will be embarrassed over the gardens that you chose, for you will be like an elm tree with withered leaves, and like a garden without water. The mite will be like flax, and its maker like a spark, and the two of them will burn together, with no one to extinguish it. That concludes chapter 1. Chapter 2. The prophecy that Isaiah son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. It will happen in the end of days. The mountain of the temple of the Most High will be firmly established as the head of the mountain, and it will be exalted above the hills, and all the nations will stream to it. Many peoples will go and say, Come, let us go to the mountain of the Most High, to the temple of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. From Zion will the Torah come forth, and the word of the Most High from Jerusalem. He will judge among the nations and will settle arguments of many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations will not lift sword against nation, and they will no longer study warfare. O house of Jacob, come, let us walk by the light of the Most High. For you have abandoned your people, the house of Jacob, because they were filled with sorceries of the east and divinations, like the Philistines, and they content themselves with the children of foreigners. Its land become full of silver and gold, with no end to its treasures. Its land became full of horses, with no end to its chariots. Then its land became full of false gods. Each of them bows to his own handiwork, to what his fingers have made. Humankind have bowed, and man will have humbled himself, yet too will not forgive them. Enter the rock and be hidden in the ground, because of the fear of the Most High, and from the glory of his greatness. Humankind's naughty eyes until it be brought low, and men's arrogance will be humbled, and the Most High alone will be exalted on that day. For the Most High has a day for retribution against every proud and arrogant person, and against every exalted person, and he will be brought low, and against all the lofty and exalted cedars of Lebanon, and against all the oaks of the Bashan, and against all the lofty mountains, against all the exalted hills, and against every tall tower, and against every fortified wall, and against all the ships of Tarshish, and against all the splendid palaces. Humankind's haughtiness will be humbled, and men's arrogance will be brought down, and the Most High alone will be exalted on that day. The false gods will perish completely, and idolaters will enter caves in the rocks and tunnels in the ground, because of the fear of the Most High and because of the glory of his greatness, when he arises to break the land. On that day, man will throw away his false gods of silver and his false gods of gold, which they made for him to prostrate himself, to moles and to bats, to enter clefts of the rocks and cracks of the crags, because of the fear of the Most High from the glory of his greatness, when he arises to to break the land. Withdraw from man who has breath in his nostrils, for with what is he deemed worthy. That concludes chapter 2. Chapter 3. For behold, the Lord Yahweh, Master of legions, is removing from Jerusalem and from Judah of men and support of women every support of bread and every support of water. Hero and man of war, judge, prophet, deliverer, and elder, captain of 50, respected person, adversary, teacher of the wise and comprehender of the mysteries. I shall make youngsters their leaders, and mockers will rule them. The people will be oppressed, man by man and man by his fellow. They will domineer the youngster over the elder and base over the respectable. When a man will grasp his relative, a member of his father's house, saying, "You have garment, you have you have garment, become a benefactor for us, and let this obstacle of poverty be under the control of your hand." He will swear on that day, saying, "I cannot become a patron, for in my house there is neither bread nor garment. Do not make a benefactor of the people." All this has come about because Jerusalem has stumbled and Judah has fallen, for their speech and their actions are against the Most High, rebel before the eyes of his glory. Their brazen countenance testifies against them. Their sins, like Sodom's, have brought evil upon themselves. Tell each righteous man that it is good, for they shall eat the fruit of their deeds. But woe to the wicked person who does evil, for the recompense of his hands will be dealt to him. My people, their oppressors are mockers, and women dominate them. O people, your leaders mislead you, and they have corrupted the direction of your ways. The Most High erected to contend and stand to judge peoples. The Most High will enter in judgment with the elders and officers of his people, saying, "You have consumed the vineyard. What have you robbed me from the poor man is in your house? What has become of you? Crush my people and grind the faces of the poor." The word of the Lord, the Most High. The Most High said, "Because the daughters of Zion are haughty, walking with outstretched necks and winking eyes, walking with dainty steps, jingling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will afflict the heads of the daughters of Zion with lesions, and the Most High will bear their private parts. On that day, the Lord will remove the splendor of the shoe bells, the head scarves, the moon-shaped ornaments, the necklace, the bracelets, the veils, the bonnets, the leg bands, the hair ties, the brooches, the earrings, the rings, the nose rings, the robes, the shawls, the kerchiefs, the pouches, the mirrors, the linens, the turbans, and the clasps. And it shall be that in that place of fragrance there will be rot, and in that place of the belt abrasion, and in the place of Kaphir, baldness, and in the place of the ornamental belt, a bale of sackcloth, a burn in the place of beauty. Your men will fall by the sword, and your might in war. Her doorways will lament and mourn. She will be wiped out. She will sit on the ground. That concludes chapter 3. Chapter 4. And 7 women will grasp one man on that day, saying, we will eat our own food and wear our own clothes. Just let us be called by your name and end our disgrace. On that day, the Most High sprout will come forth for splendor and honor, and the fruit of the land will be for pride and glory for the survivors of Israel. Of every remnant that will be in Zion and every remaining one in Jerusalem, holy will be said of him. Everyone who is inscribed for life in Jerusalem. When my Lord will have washed the filth of the daughters of Zion and rinsed the blood of Jerusalem from the midst, with a spirit of judgment and a spirit of purging. And the Most High will create over every structure of Mount Zion and over those assembled in a cloud by day, and in a glow of flaming fire by night. For this will be a canopy over all the honor, and there will be a tabernacle as shade from hill in the daytime, as protection and refuge from the storm and from the rain. That concludes chapter 4.
All right, chapter 5. Shalom, Miguel. I will now sing on behalf of my beloved song concerning his vineyard. My beloved had a vineyard in a fertile corner. He fenced it around and cleared its stones. He planted it with choice shoots and built a tower inside it. He even hoed a wine vat in it. He hoped to produce fine grapes, but it produced only inferior grapes. So my beloved said, now, O inhabitant of Jerusalem and people of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more can be done for my vineyard that I have not done for it? Why, though I had hoped to produce fine grapes, did it produce only inferior grapes? So now I will tell you what I am doing to my vineyard. I will remove its hedge, and it will be consumed. I will breach its fence, and it will be trampled. I will make it a wasteland. It will not be pruned, and it will not be hoed. Thorns and weeds will grow, and I will command the clouds not to pour rain on it. Now the vineyard of Yahweh, Master of Legions, is the house of Yasharal, and the people of Judah are the shoot of his delight. He had hoped for justice, but behold, affliction; for righteousness, but behold, an outcry. Woe to you who cause house to encroach against house, and make field approach field, until there is no more place. Are you the only ones to be settled in the midst of the land? It has entered into my ears, said Yahweh, Master of Legions. I swear that many houses, great and splendid ones, will be laid ruined without inhabitant. For 10 portions of vineyard will produce only one bath, and an omer of seeds will only produce one ephah. Woe to those who arise early in the morning to pursue liquor, who stay up late at night while wine inflames them. There are harp and lyre, and drum and flute, and wine at their drinking parties, but they will not contemplate the deed of Yahweh, and will not look at his handiwork. Therefore my people is being excited because of ignorance, its honored ones dying of starvation, and its multitude parched from thirst. Therefore the netherworld has enlarged its appetite and opened its mouth wide without limit, and into it will descend her glory and her multitude and her horde, and whoever revels within her. Humankind will have bowed, and man will have humbled himself, and the eyes of the haughty will be brought low. Yahweh, Master of Legions, will become exalted through judgment, and the holy Elohim will be sanctified through justice. Then the sheep will graze in their usual way, and sojourners will eat of the ruins of the fattened animals. Woe to those who pull iniquity upon themselves with cords of falsehood, and sin like the ropes of a wagon. Those who say, let him hurry, let him hasten his action, so that we may see it. Let the plain of the Holy One of Yasharal approach and take place, so that we may know it. Woe to those who say evil is good and good is evil, who make darkness into light and light into darkness. They make bitter into sweet and sweet into bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes, and who view themselves as understanding. Woe to those who are mighty in drinking wine, and are men of accomplishment in pouring liquor. They acquit the wicked one because of a bribe, and strip the righteous one of his innocence. Therefore, just as a tongue of fire consumes straw, and a flame destroys stubble, so will their root become rot, and their flower will be blown away like dust. For they have, for they have abhorred the Torah of Yahweh, Master of Legions, and they have scorned the word of the Holy One of Yasharah. Therefore Yahweh's wrath has flared up against his people, and he has stretched forth his hand against them and stricken them. The mountains have quaked, and their corpses are like refuse in the middle of the streets. Yet still his wrath has not ceased, and his hand is still stretched out. He will raise a banner for far off nations, and he will whistle for the enemy to come from the ends of the earth, and behold, he will come with quickness, with alacrity. None among him is tired or stumbles. He neither sleeps nor slumbers. The belt around his waist will not be open, and the laces of his shoes will not be untied. His arrows are sharpened, and all his bows are drawn. His horses' hooves are considered like flint, and his chariot's wheels like a storm. His roar is like a lion's. He will roar like young lions, growl, seize prey, and pull it away, and none can save it. He will growl at Yasharal on that day like the rumble of the sea. Yasharal will peer across the land, but there will only be the darkness of the enemy. The light of day has darkened in the sky. You can take 6, Mike.
Who me?
Con.
Okay. Can I take 6 and 7, or is somebody getting 7?
Yeah, I'll take 7.
So you're doing like a
All right.
merry-go-round type thing.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, Mike. You can read in here. Nobody's gonna talk about you. Safe place.
Say what?
See, go ahead and read that for a strong brother.
I could care less what they say about my reading. Wait. Oh, I want to go. This is Second Kings, right?
We're in Isaiah now.
All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, we are. Let's see. Isaiah 6. All right. In the year, all right. In the year of Uz, Azariah die, I saw Yahweh high and exalted. His seat on a throne. He was sitting on a throne, and the trains of his ribbon filled the temple. Verse 2. Above him were cherubim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces. With 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying, and they were calling to one another, Holy, holy is Yahweh, your Almighty. The whole world is full of His glory. All the sounds, all the sounds of their voice, the doorposts and the thresholds shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Woe, woe to me! I cry, I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King Yahweh Almighty. Then one of the cherubim flew to me with a with a with a life coil in his hand, which he had taken with with tongues for the altar. With it, he he touched my mouth and said, "See, this has touched their tongue. Your guilt is taken away, and their sins atoned for." But that's a cut to the New Testament too. Then I heard a voice of Yahweh saying, "Whom shall I send, and whom will go for us?" And I said, here am I, send me." And he said, "Go and tell these people, be be ever hearing, but not understanding. Be be ever be ever seeing, but not precise. Verse 10. Make make the heart of this people cord cord call call cord make their ears dull, and close their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their heart, turn and be healed. Verse 11. And then I said, "For how long, Yahweh?" And he answers, "Until the city lies ruined and without inhabit and without inheritance, until the house are left des- desolate, desolate, and the field ruined and ravished, until Yahweh has sent everyone far off, it's far away, and the land is utterly forsaken, and through a tenth remain in the land, it will again be it would again be laid waste, but as laid banished in oak and strump, left strump when they are cut down, so that the holy seed will be the strump in the land. Shalom.
Um, this is Isaiah chapter 7. Um, this is the from the book of Yahweh. So there may be certain things that I may miss as far as in parentheses that goes with the reading. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So now it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, son of Yaham, the son of isaiYaH, the king of Yada, that Rezin king of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, advanced toward Jerusalem to wage war against it, but could not overpower it. And the house of David was informed, saying, Aram has set up their camp in Ephraim. So the heart of Ahaz and the heart of his people were shaken, like the trees of the forest are shaken with the wind. Then Yahweh said to Isaiah, Go out now to meet Ahaz. You and your son shall Yashub, and remnant will return. That's what it means. Meet him at the end of the conduit of the upper pool of the highway to the fullest field, and say to him, Take heed and be quiet. Do not fear, nor be faint hearted because of these two stubs of smoking firebrands, because of the fierce anger of Rezin and Aram, and of the son of Remaliah. Aram, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against you, saying, Let us attack Yada and trouble it. Let us tear it apart between us, and set the son of Tabil as king over it. This is what Yahweh our Father says. It will not stand, nor will it come to pass. For the head of Aram, Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus, Rezin, within 65 years. I'm sorry, let me make sure that's right. Within 65 years, Ephraim will be broken, no longer a people. The head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Ramiah's son. If you will, if you will not believe, truly you will not be established. Moreover, Yahweh spoke again to Ahaz, saying, Ask for yourself a sign from Yahweh, your father. Ask either in depth or in height above. But Ahaz said, I would not ask, nor will I tempt Yah. So Isaiah said, Hear now, O house of David, it is of no importance for you to weary men, but will you try the patience of Yah as well? Therefore, Yah himself will give you a sign. Behold, a virgin will conceive and bear a son, and will bring forth the sign that Yah of hosts is with us, Emmanuel. Butter and honey will he eat, so he may know to refuse evil and choose righteousness. But before this child will know to refuse evil and choose righteousness, the land that you dread will be forsaken by both her kings. Yah will bring upon you, upon your people, and upon your father's house, such days as have not come since the day of that of I'm sorry, the days has the days as have not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria. It will come to pass in that day that Yahweh will shrill for the fly that is in the furthest part of the rivers of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Assyria. They will come, and all of them will rest in the desolate valley, and in the holes of the rocks, and upon all thorns, and upon all bushes. In the same day, Yah will shave with a hired razor with those whom beyond the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, the head, the hair of the feet, and it will also consume the beard. It will come to pass in that day that a man will keep alive a young cow and two sheep, and because of the abundance of milk that they will give, he will eat butter. For butter and honey everyone will eat who is left in the land. And it will come to pass in that day that every place where there were 1,000 vines worth 1,000 shekels of silver, about 25 pounds, there would be only briars and thorns. With arrows and with bows will men go there, because all the land will become briars and thorns. Then, as for any hill once cultivated with the hoe, you will no longer go there for fear of the briars and thorns. They will have become a place. Then, as for any hill once cultivated with the hoe, you will no longer go there for fear of the briars and thorns. They will have become a place where oxen are let loose to pasture and where sheep roam.
I want to touch on that Isaiah 7 real quick, because as we know, a lot of people use this chapter, specifically 7:14, to support the New Testament story of a virgin birth, so-called virgin birth. But as we see in the context, this is why the churches don't get us want us reading whole chapters and the whole and everything front to back, because they isolate verses to suit a doctrine. They'll hop here and there. But if you read the whole thing, that child was to be a sign to King Ahaz within 65 years that two kings will pass. And you'll see when we, the reason why it said he'll eat butter and honey is because it tells you right here the land will be desolate and a bee will be in the land, and then all that'll be left will be a heifer and two sheep. And that's where you get milk and cream from, is the heifer and two sheep. And we see that actually comes to pass. And also you'll see Emmanuel actually named in Isaiah 8 and 8. So yeah, this already happened way before that the New Testament came out, and this is why we must read. And yeah, just want to point that out.
I mean, I also add that this does not fulfill the doctrine of dual prophecy or shadow of things to come. They can't shorten it and just say, oh, look, a virgin shall be born and then run with it. For dual prophecy to be fulfilled or shadow of things to come, they have to go through the whole thing. And it doesn't add up when you read the full, the whole prophecy.
Right. Also, there's a reason why they'll teach us Spanish in school. They'll teach us French. I've never seen a Hebrew class, and this is why. This is my theory. They don't want us because they know if we could read it and understand it fully, that we wouldn't fall into their trap. Because that word for quote unquote virgin in the Hebrew is alma, which simply means a young woman. But the Hebrew word that's specifically for a literal virgin is batula, and that's not what's there in the text. So that's they yeah, they tried to pull that one, but eventually you can't hide everything forever. All right, all right. Devanya, are you still cooking up something?
Hey, Shalom. Yeah, you brothers run with it. Yeah,
All right,
You want
thank
me
you.
to
all
read?
right. What's up?
You want me to read, or
Yeah, I was gonna.
you go ahead?
We can go around in a circle.
All right.
All right. Yahweh said to me, "Take a large scroll and write on it in clear script. Plunder hastens, spoils quicken. I appointed trustworthy witnesses for myself, Uriah the Kohen and Zechariah son of Jeberechiah. I approached the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son." So his child was already born. And Yahweh said to me, "Name him Maher Shalal Hashbat." Hey, Devanya, can you tell me what that means? Or it tells me right here, plunder, hasten, spoils, quicken. Oh, never mind, it tells me. Before the child knows how to say my father and my mother, the wealth of Damascus and the spoils of Samaria will be carried off before the king of Assyria. Yahweh further spoke further to me, saying, because this people has rejected the gently flowing water of the Shiloh, and has rejoiced with Rezin and the son of Remaliah, therefore, behold, the Lord is bringing upon them the mighty and abundant waters of the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria in all his glory, and it will rise above its channels and overflow all its banks. It will pass through Judah, flooding as it passes, and reaching to the neck, and its wingspread will be the full breadth of your land. O Emmanuel, there's that child. Destroy, all you peoples, and then be devastated yourselves. Hear this, all you faraway parts of the world. Gird yourselves and then be shattered. Gird yourselves and then be shattered. Plan a conspiracy and it shall be annulled. Speak your peace and it shall not stand. For Yahweh is with us. That's why that child was born. Let them know. It was named after. That was the sign. The sign came to pass. Let them know he is with them. For thus said Yahweh, to me with a strong hand he admonished me not to follow the way of this people, but to say, do not speak of a cabal, for everything this people speaks of is a cabal. Do not fear what they fear, and do not attribute strength to them. Yahweh, master of legions, him shall you sanctify. He is your reverence, and he is your strength. He shall be a sanctuary, but also a striking stone and a stumbling block for the two houses of Yasharal, a trap and a snare for the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and many will stumble over them. They will fall down and be broken, trapped, and ensnared. Fasten this warning and seal to teach them to the hearts of my students. I shall await Yahweh, who has concealed his face from the house of Jacob, and I will hope to him. Behold, I and the children whom Yahweh has given me are signs and symbols for Yasharal. From Yahweh, Master of Legions, who dwells in Mount Zion. If people say to you, inquire of the necromancers and the diviners who chirp and snort, what they snorting? Shall not a people inquire of their own Elohim? Shall we inquire of the dead for the living? I swear by the Torah and the teaching that they will make this statement to you that has no light or dawn. Through the land will pass the trouble and hunger. When he will be hungry, he will be angry and curse his king and his gods and direct his face on high. He will gaze throughout the land, but behold, misfortune and darkness, the weariness of distress. He will be buffeted to darkness, for he was not weary the first time the land was distressed, when Assyria exiled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But the last time Assyria will be, but the le, but the last time Assyria will be severe, by way of the sea, beyond the Jordan, the region of the nations. Hey, Mike, you can say no.
All right. Is Tori reading?
I don't know. He said, I think he said he was doing something.
All right. I'll read.
I can take it. What's it 9?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got kind of semi just finished. Got these scripts. The people that walk in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwell in the land of the shadow of death, light has shone upon them. You exalted the nation, you increased its joy. They rejoice before you like the joy of harvest time, as they would exult when they divide spoils. For the yoke of his burden and the staff of his on his shoulder, the rod that oppressed them, you smashed like the day of Midian. For all tumultuous battles are fought with an uproar, and the garments wallow in blood. But Sennacherib became a blaze and was consumed by fire. For a child has been born unto us, a son has been given to us, and the domination and dominion will rest on his shoulder. The wondrous advisor, mighty God, eternal Father, called Hezekiah's name Sar Shalom, Prince of Peace, upon the one with the greatness and dominion and the boundless peace that will prevail on the throne of David and on his kingdom. I mean, if you read a regular text, it won't say,
Nope.
Hezekiah. But
That's
I
why
mean,
they don't know the Hebrew meaning of the names.
right? Yeah, I was just in case if I'm reading from a Tanakh, just in case anybody didn't have it, but you know through context, you know that that's Hezekiah. All right, verse 6. Upon the one with the greatness and dominion and the boundless peace that will prevail on the throne of David and on his kingdom, to establish it and sustain it through justice and righteousness from now to eternity. The zealousness of the Most High will accomplish this. The word that the Lord has sent for Jacob will befall Israel. Then the entire people will realize, Ephraim and its inhabitants of Samaria, who had said with pride and with arrogant heart, bricks have fallen. We will rebuild with hewn stones. Sycamores have been cut down. We will replace them with cedars. The Most High set Rezin enemies against him and roused his adversaries. Aram from the east and the Philistines from the west. They have consumed Israel with every mouth. We, despite all this, his anger has not subsided and his hand is still outstretched. The people has returned to the one who smites it. They do not seek the Most High. The Most High will cut off from Israel the head and the tail, the canopy tree and the reed in one day, the elder and the distinguished man. He is the head, and the prophet who teaches falsehood. He is the tail. The guides of this people mislead, and the guides ones are corrupt. Therefore, my Lord shall not rejoice over his young men, and he shall not pity his orphans in wisdom, for they are hypocritical and evil, and every mouth utters degeneracy. Yet, despite all this, his anger has not subsided, and his hand is still outstretched. For their wickedness will burn them like the fire. It will consume thorns and weeds, and will kindle the branches of the forest. They will be overcome by the intensity of the smoke. By the wrath of the Most High, the land is charred. The people has become like fuel for a fire. They have no mercy for one another. He snaps from his right and remains hungry. He consumes on his left, but they are not sated. Everyone will eat the flesh of his arm. Manasseh is against Ephraim. Ephraim is against Manasseh. But they are both together against Judah. Yet despite all this, his anger is not subsided and his hand is still outstretched. That
Hey,
concludes chapter 9.
hey, so in verse 10, I just want to see something real quick,
What's up?
since you got it to knock too, where it says Yahweh set Rezin's enemies against him. Is yours missing a T when it says against?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought about to say they gave me a bootleg to knock, yo. I was about to send this thing back.
Yeah, I assume it was against because again him wouldn't make sense. So I did say against, but and I was kind of sorry I was reading, but yeah, it might just be a print copy. You know, yeah, it says.
Shalom, Hazel. You want to take 10?
Okay. Woe to those who decree unrighteous decrees, who write misfortune which they have prescribed to rob the needy of justice, and take what is right from the poor of my people, that widow may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. What will you do in the day of punishment, and in the desolation which will come from afar? To whom will you flee for help? And where will you leave your glory? Without me they shall bow down among the prisoners, and they shall fall among the slain. For all this, for all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Woe to Assyria, the rod of my anger, and the staff in whose hands is my indignation. I will send him against an ungodly nation, and against the people of my wrath I will give him charge, to seize the spoil and take the prey, and to tread them down like a mere of the streets. Yet he does not mean so, nor does his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off not a few nations. For he says, Are not my princes altogether kings? Is not Calno like Carchemish? Is not Hamath like Arpad? Is not Samaria like Damascus? As my hand has found the kingdoms of the idols, whose carved images excel those of Jerusalem and Samaria, as I have done to Samaria and her idols, shall I not do to Jerusalem and her idols? Therefore it shall come to pass when the Lord has performed all his work on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, that he will say, I will punish the fruit of the arrogant heart of the king of Assyria, and the glory of his haughty looks. For he says, By the strength of my hand I have done it, by my wisdom, for I am prudent. Also I have removed the boundaries of the people, and have robbed their treasuries. So I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. My hand has found like a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathers eggs that are left, I have gathered all the earth. And there was no one who moved his wing, nor opened his mouth with even a peep. Shall the axe boast itself against him who chops with it? Or shall the saw exalt itself against him who saws with it? As if a rod could wield itself against those who lift it up, as if a staff could lift up as if it were not wood. Therefore the Lord of hosts, will send leanness among his fat ones, and under his glory he will a burning like kindle a burning like the burning of a fire, and the light of Yasharel will be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame. It will burn and devour his thorns and his briars in one day, and it will consume the glory of his forests and his fruitful fields, both soul and body, and they will be as when a sick man wastes away, and the rest of the trees of his forest will be so few in number, that a child may write them. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Yasharel, and such as have escaped of the house of Jacob, will never again depend on him who defeated them, but will depend on the Lord, the Holy One of Yasharel, in truth. The remnant will return, the remnant of Jacob, to the mighty God. For though my people, O Yasharel, be as the sands of the sea, a remnant of them will return. The destruction decreed shall overflow with righteousness. For the Lord God of hosts will make a determined end in the midst of all the land. Therefore thus says the Lord God of hosts, O my people who dwell in Zion, do not be afraid of the Assyrian. He shall strike you with a rod and lift up his staff against you in the manner of Egypt. For yet a very little will yet a very little while, and the indignation will cease, as will my anger in their destruction. And the Lord of hosts will stir up a scourge for him, like the slaughter of Midian at the rock of Oreb. As his rod was on the sea, so will he lift it up in the manner of Egypt. It shall come to pass in that day that his burden will be taken away from your shoulder, and his yoke from your neck, and the yoke will be destroyed because of the anointing oil. He has come to Aiath, he has passed Migron at Mechmash, and has attended to his equipment. They have gone along the ridge, they have taken up lodging at Gebha. Ramah is afraid of Gibeah of Saul has fled. Lift up your voice, O daughter of Gileam, cause it to be heard as far as Laish. O poor Anathoth, Medmenah was fled. The inhabitants of Gibeon seek refuge. As yet he will remain at Nob that day. He will shake his fist at the mount of the daughter of Zion, the hill of Jerusalem. Behold, the Lord of hosts, will lop off the bow with terror. Those of high stature will be hewn down, and the haughty will be humbled. Amen. He will cut down the thickets of the forest with iron, and Lebanon will fall by the mighty one. Shalom.
Hey, Devon, you want to take 11? Oh, she's standing me up because I
Yeah,
stood
chill
a
out, bro.
couple
Guys,
times today.
finish it out. Finish it out, please. I'm listening. I'm still busy preparing my meal here. I haven't
All
eaten
right,
in a couple of days. Sorry.
that's all good.
Thank you.
Um,
You got it?
yeah, I'll take. All right, chapter 11.
You can drop me down if you like.
Oh no, just in case you want to convo after you're done, whatever. All right, chapter 11. A staff will grow from the stump of Jesse, and a shoot will sprout from his roots. The spirit of Yahweh will rest upon him, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of counsel and strength, a spirit of knowledge and fear of Yahweh. He will be imbued with the spirit of fear for Yahweh, and will not need to judge by what his eyes see, nor decide by what his ears hear. He will judge the destitute with righteousness, and rebuke with fairness the humble of the earth. He will strike the wicked of the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he will slay the wicked. Righteousness will be the girdle around his loins, and faith will be the girdle around his waist. The wolf will live with the sheep, and the leopard will lie down with the kid and the calf. A lion, whelp, and a fatling will walk together, and a young child will lead them. A cow and bear will graze, and their young will lie down together, and a lion, like cattle, will eat hay. A suckling will play by a viper's hole, and a newly weaned child will stretch his hand toward an adder's lair. They will neither injure nor destroy in all my sacred mountain, for the earth will be as filled with knowledge of Yahweh as water covering the seabed. It shall be on that day that the descendant of Jesse, who stands as a banner for the peoples, nations will seek him, and his resting place will be glorious. It shall be on that day that Adonai will once again show his hand to acquire the remnant of his people, who will have remained from Assyria and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. He will raise a banner for the nations and assemble the castaways of Yasharal, and he will gather in the dispersed ones of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The jealousy of Ephraim shall stop, and the oppressors of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim will not be jealous of Judah, and Judah will not harass Ephraim. They will fly in unison against the Philistines to the west, and together they will plunder the people of the east. Their hand will extend over Edom and Moab, and their discipline over the children of Ammon. Yahweh will dry up the gulf of the sea of Egypt, and he will wave his hand over the Euphrates River with the power of his breath. He will break it into seven streams and lead the people across in dry shoes. There will be a road for the remnant of his people that will remain from Assyria, as there was for Yasharal on the day it went up from the land of Egypt. Hey yo, I know a lot of people basically agree that this happened already, but is there anyone? I don't know if it did or not. I'm just asking. Um, bring you up. Like it says the the Sea of Egypt will dry up in the Euphrates River. Like, did that happen in Scripture? Because I know that like that's literally happening right now. So that's why I just want to see if that happened already. Like, if is it happened again? Or
Leave it
Well,
at
the question would be like, is this talking about like a mashayat? So we know that's like the NT believers would insert like JC right here as like a mashayat that's gonna do these things or whatnot. So like the question is like even if it's not JC, is this still talking about some sort of like mashayat? That's like the starting point, and then we could look to the prophecies that have already been fulfilled and see who that Mashayak is. So like when they came out of Babylon, the Mashayak, as we'll get to Isaiah 45 and 5, is King Cyrus. And it was not from the root of David or whatnot that did these things. You know what I'm saying? It would have been Cyrus that did it. But that's like up for debate. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion.
yeah, I was just asking because I noticed like maybe a couple months ago, it's been happening around the world actually. Like several rivers drying up, specifically the Euphrates and the Nile, just recently starting to dry up. So that's why, like, when I read over, I'm like, it sounds like that's happening now.
I,
Con, if
I
you want to read the chapter again real quick, we could go through it. So my bad,
as,
my bad, Miguel.
as far as the river drying up, I think I read somewhere where that has happened before, and it has something to do with um somebody crossing over the river when it was dry up before to attack a land or something. But I don't have it all together in my head. But I think I read that somewhere before that it did dry before.
Come on, let's go through it. So it says from verse 1, Wayisha, so like shall break out or come out or to go forth or shall command, uh, shall take forth, hoter, a rod, magizah, the magizah from the stem or the stock of Yeshe, Yeshi, Jesse, Wanesher, which is like one atzer, sorry, which is like a branch, Mitsara, from like his like roots, Yafre shall like shall increase or be fruitful. And it says Wanaha Elah Ruach Yahweh. So and the mind of Yahweh shall rest upon him. Rawak Hakemah Wabina, the mind of wisdom and understanding. Rawak Esha Ugabera or Bura, yes, the mind of counsel and like might or power. Rawak Da'at Wayerat Yahweh, the mind of knowledge and fear of Yahweh. Wahario, he shall be made of or shall accept like understanding. Beyirat Yahweh Wela, Lamare Ena Yashfat Wela. So he shall like accept like understanding and be quick of understanding to accept it. In the fear of Yah, Wela, and not La Mera Ena Yeshfat, Welo La Mishma Azena Yaukia. And he will not judge by the sight of like his eyes, or like and okay, and not by what his ears, Azena, like, or what like any audience, or like what anything that he hears. Yaukia, like to like he will not like make judgments upon these things, according to his eyes or his ears. Washifat bazedak dalim wehaukia bam bamesor la anwe arats wahika arats bashebet uh peah, or like peah. He shall judge with righteousness the poor, and reprove with fairness for the afflicted of the earth, the arats. Wehicha erats, and he shall strike the earth, bashvet, pa, with the staff of his mouth, or the instruction, or the correction of his mouth. Uberuach, shafeta, yamit rasha, and with the mind, or with the breath of his lips, or the word, or the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we just read about, of his lips, he shall slay. Yamit, he shall cause to end forever the wicked, the Rasha. Wehaya Zadak Ezor Matena Waha Amana, like Imuna Ezor Halasha. And it shall be with righteousness, shall be like Ezor is like the girdle or the sash of like his loins. And faithfulness, like Imuna, Weha Imuna, with the faithfulness, Ezor Halasha, shall like the sash of his reins. And then it's like Wegar Zayeb Im Kebesh Wanemer, or Wanemer Im Gedi Yerbash Wa Egel. Like also shall like the wolf dwell with like a lamb, or like a goat, or whatever. Wanemer Im Gedi, with the leopard, with the young goat. Yerbash Wa Egel shall lie down with a calf. Uh Ekifer, like a young lion. Umere, Umeria, or like a fat calf. Yada, like they shall both be like the same. Wena'ar katan nahegbam, and like a small like child, or like a damsel, or a servant, or a young man, little shall like lead them. Upera wadab terena yada yabesha, or yarbesha Yaldehen Wa'areya Kabakar Yakal Taban. And like the cow, or like and the bear, they will like keep each other like company, be companions, eat together, basically like sup together. Yada Yarbesha Yaldehen Wa'areya shall lie down these young ones. And the lion, Wa'areya Kabakar, and the ox, they shall like Yakal, they shall like burn up, or consume, or devour, or eat, or be wise. Uh, they will get along, basically. Taban, straw, or agree to like eat straw. Wa ashiasha, a child shall play. Yaunech al har faten we al meurat shap aune gemal yadal chada. And like a child, a suckling child, on cave, the asap, faten, the otter, with almerat, and on okay, like the den of the cockatrice, shafane, like, or an otter, gemal yada heda, the weaned child, his hand he shall put. Le yare ya we al yahash yashhita bekal har kodeshe, or Quadashe, Ke me la a ha'arat de a eta Yahweh Kamayim. layam, makishim, and they will not hurt or destroy. Um, yeah, le yada yahweh la yahashita bekal. They shall not hurt or like destroy. Har kodeshi ke'ema'elah. For like on my mountain, for my holy mountain, shall be full. The earth, ha'aret de'ah, or da'ah, ata Yahweh. For the whole earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh. Kamayim layam mechashim, as the waters of the sea cover the earth. So let's like go through this again. Le yare awe la yahashit yasheta be'kal har kodeshe ke be'elah. No one shall like hurt or do anything to destroy things on my holy mountain. For my holy mountain shall make the earth be full of the knowledge of Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea. Wehaya bayom hea sharesh yeshe ashar amad lanesh amim ela goyim yad rasha wehayeta menata kabat. There shall be a day, um, in that day, or there shall be a day, and in that day a root of Jesse shall stand for an ensign, lanish, as like a banner or like a standard, right? A banner or a standard he will stand of the people, amim elakoyim, unto the people, and the Gentiles will seek this man, yad rosha, seek, uh, which would be like require this man. They shall like diligently inquire or make inquisition about this man. Wehayeta menaheto kabad, and it shall be his rest. It will be majestic or like glorious or honorable. So like this person here, whoever it is, all the Gentiles of the earth will seek this man because of like how honorable and like how he keeps the laws and stuff like that. Okay, so let's keep going. Wehaya bayom heo yasaf adonai shanit yada laknat etashe ar ama ashar. It will come to pass on that day, and that again, Adonai, or the Lord, Shenit, a second time, Yada, use his hand, not to recover or to like teach, to keep cattle, um, shall redeem or recover, Eta She'ar, Ama, the remnant of his people, Ashar, Yashe'ar, Me Ashur, Ashawar, Umi Misraim, Umi Patras, Umi Kushi, Umi Elam, Umi Shinar, Umi Hamat, Umi Hayam. So like he will, the people that are left from like Assyria, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, Hamat, and like Mi'et, is like a islands or isles of the sea or the countries of the sea. Wenasha nesh la goyim wa eshaf nide Israel unafishot Yehuda Yechabesh me araba kanfat haaretz, and he will set up a ensign or like a banner or a standard for the nations, and he shall assemble Wa'eshaf, he shall consume or gather or destroy together, um, or to receive or to recover or um, to loose nide, which is like or chase or drive away or outcast Yisrael, Israel, Unafishat, and the dispersed Yehuda of Judah, Yachebesh, Yachwabesh, Merarba, Kanfawat, Haaretz. And the dispersed of Israel and Judah he will gather together from the four corners of the earth. Weshara kinat Ephraim weshare Yahuda yikareta Ephraim le yakane eta Yahuda wihuda, or we Yehuda le Yashor eta Ephraim. And the envious, like or jealousy or zeal of Ephraim shall depart, and where is like a adversary or the afflicted of Judah shall be cut off. Yekareta or Yakreta. Uh, Ephraim le Yachane eta Yahuda. Ephraim shall not envy or like provoke or like be zealous towards Judah. And then it says, we Yahuda le Yashor eta Ephraim. And Judah will not be adversaries with like Ephraim or like be in distress or affliction or besiege or all these things. Okay. Yeah, so like my thing is like when we read it like this, obviously this ain't happened. So when one would say that Zerubbabel and Joshua fulfilled this, this is obviously talking about someone from the loins of David that is doing all of these things. Their Mashiach, when they came out of Babylon, was not of the line of David. Their Mashiach in Isaiah 45 and 5, 45 verse 1, was Cyrus. Uh, he was not an Israelite. He was not a Mashiach from the loins of David. And he didn't do this. Because it talked about how the whole earth, knowledge of the Most High would fill the whole earth as the seas do. And then there will be no more like bad things going on. But the important thing to keep in mind is that it's saying that this Mashiach from the loins of David is going to be doing this and not like Cyrus. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, when we go further into Isaiah and we read about them coming out of Babylon, you'll see in Isaiah, okay, because there's like a similar thing that happens when they come out of Babylon, right? They like get all the children of Israel, whatever, and put them back in the land. But this is like we're reading this in Isaiah 11. This is Isaiah 45 right here, and it tells you who the one did it. It says, "Ka Amar Yahweh La Mashiach La Kursh La Kuash Ashar." Like so said Yahweh to his Mashiach, to Cyrus, whose right hand I held, to flatten nations before him, and the loins of kings I will loosen to open portals before him, and the gates shall not be closed. Right? So what we just read in Isaiah 11 is talking about the Mashiach from David's loins. All of the nations or the Goyim would look to this Mashiach from the loins of David for correction, not Cyrus correcting them. I hope that helps. I'm going.
Is we done with reading? Because I wanted you to clear up something
Yeah, we're done. Go ahead.
about what Ananiah pulled out, where it says the Sabbath is where he pulled that out and he misquoted that verse. I wanted somebody to go over that verse again and read it. Do you remember the verse, Menelec?
No, I don't remember. Where was it at?
I
Anybody
think it
know?
was in Numbers, where it says that the Sabbath, in all the Sabbaths, has to have a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's like Numbers 21. Hold
He
on.
misread.
Might be Numbers 21 or 12. But yeah, he was misreading the whole thing
He
the
was
whole time.
he
But it's all
misread
good. It's all
Lamentations too, and that's not what he was talking about.
yeah, of course. So hold on. Yeah, it might be Numbers 12 actually. Hold on, let me see. It's either 12 or 21. I just read 21. It's not in there. So this is 12. Let's see. Nope. I forgot where he pulled that from. I know it is in Numbers. You're right about that. Hold on. Sacrifice, Sabbath. Okay. Yeah, Numbers 28, verse 9. My bad.
He forgot to read up.
My bad, y'all. Yeah, my bad, y'all. I'm going to read from 1. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel and say to them, My offering, my food for my fire offerings, a spirit of satisfaction for me. You shall take care to offer to me at its appointed time, and you shall say to them, it's very important to say, like, okay, command the children of Israel and say to them, My offerings, my food for my fire offerings, a mind of satisfaction for me.
Hmm.
You shall take care to offer to me at its appointed time. And you shall say to them, This is the fire offering which you shall offer unto Yahweh, 2 unblemished lambs in their first year, each day as a continual burnt offering. Those one lamb you shall offer up in the morning, and the other lamb you shall offer up in the afternoon, and 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a meal offering, mixed with a quarter of a hin of crushed olive oil, a continual burnt offering, as one offered up at Mount Sinai, for a spirit of satisfaction, a fire offering to Yahweh. Its libation shall be 1/4 of a hin for each lamb, to be poured out on the holy altar. Hold on, my bad, my eyes. Poured out on the holy altar as a libation of strong wine to Yahweh. And the second lamb you shall offer up in the afternoon. You shall offer it up with the same meal offering and libation as a morning sacrifice, a fire offering with a mind or rawak of satisfaction to Yahweh. And on the Sabbath day, 2 unblemished lambs in the first year, and 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a meal offering, mixed with oil and its libation. This is the burnt offering of each Sabbath on its Sabbath, in addition to the continual burnt offering and its libation. And on the beginning of your months, you shall offer up. Okay, that should be pretty good. Yeah, we get it. So that's why I brought out those verses in, what is it, Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 21 through 24, where it says, For I never spoke with your forefathers when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim concerning a burnt offering or a sacrifice, but this thing I commanded them to obey me and to walk in my ways. Hosea 6 and 6. Actually,
My
we just
point
run
is
through
that
the whole
he
chapter.
was misquoting that wrong. He didn't know he got
Con,
cut, but he did.
con. Con. So Hosea
He
chapter
was,
6, we'll just read the whole chapter from memory. If I get it wrong, help me out. Come and let us return to Yah, for he has torn and he will bind us up. From the 2 days he will revive us. On the third day we will look before him. Come and let us know. Let us strive to know Yah, like the dawn who's going forth the shore, like the early rain and the latter rain which satisfies the earth. And then he talks about what does it say? Verse 6 is like, for I desire love and kindness and not sacrifices, and knowledge of Allahayim more than burnt offerings. So he doesn't like believe in the Bible. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, he could went to that verse to say that we every time, every set we offer, every time in captivity, knowing that we don't got to preach, that we don't got to keep the Sabbath
God, this is
in captivity.
Mashallah. Mashallah, Proverbs 21, verse 2 and 3. Every man's way is straight in his own eyes, but Yah seeks out the heart.
Hmm.
For acts of justice, right? The word is like zedekah. So like acts of charity, justice, or
I
righteousness
told him,
are
I knew
more
it. I knew
acceptable
he
to
misquoted.
Yahweh than sacrifice.
I knew he misquoted that scripture wrong. I was like, yeah, that's misquoted scripture wrong. It went over everybody else's head. Mm.
Well, yeah, he was coming with some other stuff. So acts of righteousness, justice, and charity are more acceptable to Yah than sacrifices. So basically doing what you're supposed to do, which is walking in the Torah
Mhm.
and not sinning, which is not keeping the Torah. So this is the simple thing, right? And this is why the Mafayah is the best. Because it means from the mouth of Yah. So when a nigga's debating that shit, they're gonna get beat up.
Mm.
So this is what it says. When one repents from being wicked and walking in wicked ways, how does one do that? So when you repent, you turn away from sin and turn back to the Most High and His ways, which is following the Torah.
Hmm.
That's dead. That's a dead argument. So the
And
question
All
is,
right, but
so the question is,
go ahead.
if we can't keep the Torah right now, the question really is, hey, when are we going to keep the Torah? Then they're going to say, I don't
they
know. So
sit
we
back
don't
and
keep the
think
Torah ever.
they,
Don't
they,
make no
they
sense.
I
Well,
say it don't. Yeah.
what I say is, which was the reason why you brought up the That's right. Um, which was a good way to explain that we work with what we got, you know. Because I was thinking earlier when he brought out how the land shall enjoy the Sabbath, you know. So how does the land keep Sabbath? The land is not offering any lambs to the Most High. The land can't do that, but the land is at rest. So we know that part of the Sabbath is taking rest from work. So we know that there's nobody toiling the land. But if you breaking the Sabbath, part of breaking the Sabbath is actually working on the land on the Sabbath, which probably what Israelites were doing, while
Hmm.
others were keeping the Sabbath. Some Israelites probably was like, well, nobody's going to kill me, so I'm going to go ahead and toll the land because I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you if you want to use that as one of your reference points to say um, there's nobody in the land doing the Sabbath, but the land is enjoying the Sabbath. Then you ask me, how does the land enjoy the Sabbath? I'm like, well, what does it have to do with us? If you're going to go directly with the land, well, we know that the land is at rest. Nobody is growing anything in that Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? But one thing the land is that's not happening in the land is there's nothing being sacrificed either. So
Con.
it's
If
like,
you
go ahead.
Con, yeah, real quick. So there it is, right? So real quick, yo. So if there's no one sinning in the land, you don't need to sacrifice animals and pour out its blood, defiling the land. And then if there's no one dying in the land because their souls are being kept alive, the land is not being defiled. Yes, so you hit it right on the nail on the head. The point is to be
Also,
in the land, keeping the law so that no one's soul dies to defile the land. And you don't have to sacrifice no animals and defile the land with their blood. Yes.
can you go to Deuteronomy 30 and 1 and read down?
Come on, bring it out.
uh, yeah, let me go find it.
And probably some verses y'all brought out. Somebody can put them in the chat or something.
So I'm at Deuteronomy 31 chapter on down. That's what you want, right? Oh, Michael,
Wait, yeah, you going in and out.
can you hear me now?
You still sound like that. You probably got to come out and come back in.
Let me move to another part of the house. Tell me when it clears up. Is it better?
No.
I come out. All right, is that better?
Yes.
All right. So this is chapter 1, Deuteronomy on 1 on down. Then Moshe went and spoke these words to all Israel, and he said to them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no longer go out and come in. Attend, for Yah has said to me, you must not cross over his Jordan. Yah, your father himself, crosses over in front of you. He will destroy these nations from in front of you, and you shall take possession of their land. Joshua ben Nun will also cross over ahead of you, just as Yahweh has said. This is the Yahweh Bible, by the way. Um, and Yahweh will do to them as he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, and to their land when he destroyed them.
Is that
Yah will deliver.
Deuteronomy 31? I mean, Deuteronomy 30?
Oh, okay? You wanted 30? My bad. That was 31. Let me go to Deuteronomy 30. All right. It reads, when all these things come upon you, the blessings and the curses I have set in front of you, wherever Yahweh your father may disperse you among the nations, then recall these things in your memory. And when you and your children return to Yah your father, and obey him with all your heart and with all your soul, just as I have commanded you to do this day. Then Yah will bring you back from captivity and have compassion upon you, and gather you again from all the nations where he has scattered you. If you are driven out even to the farthest land of on earth, from there Yah your father will gather you, and from there he will bring you. Yah your father will bring you to the land that belonged to your fathers, and then you will possess it. He will make you more wealthy and numerous than your fathers. Yah your father will circumcise your hearts and the hearts of your descendants, so that you may love him with all your heart and with all your soul and live. Then Yah your father will put all these curses upon your enemies and upon those who hated and persecuted you. You will again obey.
He says wherever he driven us. Where did he drive us?
Yeah, to other lands. He said it was in the first chapter, when all these things come upon you, the blessings and the curses I have set in front of you, wherever Yah your father may disperse you among the nations,
Oh man. There you go right
then
there.
recall these things in your memory. All right. And when
Hmm.
you and your children return to Yah your father and obey him with all your heart and with all your soul, just as I have commanded you to do this day, then Yah will bring you back from captivity. So now the question is, how do we return back to the Father with all our heart and with all our soul?
Go to
How do we do that?
Exodus 20:6.
Exodus 20 and 6. Exodus 20 and 6. Let's see. I'm flipping pages now. I ain't going through my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus. All right. Exodus 20, verse 6. 20, verse 6. Let me read a little bit higher.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just read from one. It's going to hit your point. Chapter 20, verse 1 on down. And Yah spoke all these words, saying, I am Yah, your heavenly Father, who brought you out the land of Egypt, out the house of bondage. You shall have no uh you shall have no Elohim at all besides me. They are in opposition against me. You shall not make yourself any carved image in the form of anything in heaven, above all the earth, beneath or in your waters below. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, Yah, your father, I am a jealous heavenly father, punishing the children for the law breaking of the fathers to the third and fourth generations of who have hate me, but showing love to thousands who love me by keeping my laws. You shall not take the name of Yah, your heavenly father, to bring it to nothing, for Yah will not hold him guiltless who brings dishonor upon profanes his name. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Yeah, it says right there, who keep my laws. One thing is, we don't see that when we are in the land of our captivity, the Most High is not saying not to keep his laws, and that
It's not
if we
nowhere in there.
attempt to keep the laws, we're not going to hear that, because that's how because it says that when we remember him again, that's what we're going to do. We're going to want to keep his laws.
Yeah, the only reason they really didn't keep it was because the rulership over them, like when in Babylon, when they tried to force them to what's it called? Like they forced them to bow down to the statue and stuff like that, and they tried to stop Daniel from praying 3 times a day. So they made their own laws over them to try to stop them from following the Most High's laws. But I don't see where it was commanded to not do any of those laws.
Right. I think that we definitely could use wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, like to see what some of our people were
Um,
doing
go to
in these lands of captivity.
Daniel 9.
And then I think there's also a scripture that says that if we do what the Most High tells us to do, that even our enemies would actually not like try to make us go against the Most High. That they will find actually favor.
Yeah,
You
if a
know,
man pleasing to the Most High, then his enemies will find peace with him.
right?
But don't the only one that I seen that it said not to do was Deuteronomy 12:11 through 13. But
Feast
other
days, right?
yeah, it's feasts and
Yeah.
sacrifices you got to do where his name's at. But that's the only
Mm-hmm.
one. Then it says he didn't ever ask for those.
Daniel's 9 and what verse?
Then 9 and 1. Read
Oh,
to
okay,
4.
all right. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, the chief of rulers
They was in
of the
captivity.
mhm, of the seed of the Medes, who was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. In the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the numbers of years which, according to the word of Yah, given to Jeremiah the prophet, must pass before the desolation which has been pronounced upon Jerusalem should be accomplished. And it was 70 years. And I set my face towards my father Yah to seek him by prayer and supplications with fastings, sackcloth, and ashes. And I prayed to Yah, my father, and made my confession and said, O Yah, the great and awesome Father, who keeps covenant and mercy with those who love you and with those who keep your laws.
What did he
He
just
has
say?
keeps covenant and mercy with those who love you and with those who keep your laws. We have sinned and committed iniquity and have acted wickedly and rebelled by departing from your precepts and from your judgments. Neither have we listened to your servants, the prophets who spoke in your name, to our kings and to our princes, to our fathers and to all the people of the land. Go ahead.
So were they commandment to so were they command to keep the Sabbath in captivity?
That's part of the laws.
There you go. They were commanded, but they didn't do it.
That was Daniel 9.
Yes.
Yeah. So we see where Daniel didn't make no excuses as to why he couldn't do something. He just went and started
Wait.
praying.
Also, I got another one. Go to Ezekiel 14.
Mike Swift with the sword. They gonna have to call you Swift, Mike.
God, Mike be riding upon his heart and his soul.
Hey, someone's got to bring that out.
Are you busy, Menelik?
God, yeah, for the few minutes, yeah.
Which one was
Uh,
that?
Ezekiel 14.
The whole thing?
Mm,
or is it a certain verse?
wait. You can read Ezekiel. Yeah, the whole chapter.
All right, bet. It's always best anyway. All right. Men came to me from the elders of Yasharal, and they sat before me. The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, these men have brought up their idols upon their heart, and have placed the stumbling block of their iniquity opposite their faces. Shall I then make myself accessible to them? Therefore, speak with them and say to them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Elohim, any man of the house of Yasharal who brings up his idols upon his heart and places the stumbling block of his iniquity opposite his face, and comes to the prophet, I Yahweh will respond to him, though he comes with the multitude of his idols, in order to seize the house of Yasharal for what is in their heart, although they have withdrawn themselves from me with their idols, all of them. Therefore say to the house of Yasharal, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Elohim, return and turn away from your idols, and turn away your faces from all your abominations. For any man of the house of Yasharal, or of the stranger who sojourns in Yasharal, who withdraws himself from me, and brings up his idols upon his heart, and sets the stumbling block of his iniquity opposite his face, and yet he comes to the prophet to seek an answer of me through him, I Yahweh will respond to him for my sake, and I will set my anger against that man, and set him for a sign and for parables, and I will cut him off from amid my people. Then you will know that I am Yahweh. And if a false prophet is enticed and makes a declaration, I Yahweh have enticed that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand against him and destroy him from amid my people Yasharal. They will bear their iniquity, like the iniquity of the inquirer shall be the iniquity of the prophet, so that the house of Yasharal will no longer stray from following me, and no longer be defiled by all their sins. Then they will be a people for me, and I will be a Elohim for them. The word of the Lord Yahweh Elohim. The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, when a country sins against me, acting with treachery, and I stretch out my hand against it, and break its staff of bread, and dispatch famine against it, and eliminate man and beast from it, then even if these three men would be in its midst, Noah, Daniel, and Job, they by their righteousness would save only their own souls. The word of the Lord Yahweh Elohim. If I cause a ferocious beast to traverse a country and bereave it, and it becomes desolate, without wayfarers, because of the beast, if these three men will be in its midst as I live, the word of the Lord Yahweh Elohim, I swear that they will save neither sons nor daughters. They alone will be saved, but the land will be desolate. Or if I bring a sword against that country, and I say, Let the sword traverse the land, and I cut off from it man and animal. If these three men will be in its midst as I live, the word of the Lord Yahweh Elohim, I swear that they will save neither sons nor daughters, for they alone will be saved. Or if I send pestilence to that country, and I pour my fury upon it in blood, to eliminate off from it man and animal, even if Noah, Daniel, and Job will be in it, as I live, says the Lord Yahweh Elohim, I swear they will not save neither son nor daughter. They in their righteousness will save only their own souls. For thus said the Lord Yahweh Elohim, how much more when I send all of my four evil
Another
judges.
cut too to the New Test. That's a another cut too. You can go to that scripture too when it says no man can die for your transgressors. You can go to that one and this one where it says no man can no man, if it was Job, Daniel, his sons and their daughters cannot save, his sons and their daughters cannot save them, but they can save them for their own soul.
Right. I brought that on Facebook a couple weeks ago, actually. It's one of my favorite ones. You need the rest read, or basically got everything
Yeah, I
that you.
really wanted you to wear because people really based upon this sacrifice stuff. So I really wanted you to read the whole chapter Isaiah 56.
56. All right, 56. That's another thing. Like idolatry is against the law. So if we're not supposed to follow the law in captivity, that means it's straight to have idols or murder and all that
Mm-hmm.
shit. Don't make sense. All right. Anyway.
After this, let's go back to Ezekiel when you're done.
All right. Isaiah 56. Thus saith Yahweh, observe justice and perform righteousness, for my salvation is soon to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Praiseworthy is the man who does this, and the person who grasps it tightly, who guards the Sabbath against desecration, and guards his hand against doing any evil. Let not the foreigner who has joined himself to Yahweh speak, saying, Yahweh will utterly separate me from his people, and let not the barren one say, Behold, I am shriveled, a shriveled tree. For thus saith Yahweh to the barren ones who observe my Sabbaths, and choose what I desire, and grasp my covenant tightly. In my house and within my walls I will give them a place of honor and renown, which is better than sons and daughters. Eternal renown will I give each one, which will never be terminated. And the foreigners who join themselves to Yahweh to serve him, and to love the name of Yahweh, to become servants unto him, all who guard the Sabbath against desecration, and grasp my covenant tightly, I will bring them to my holy mountain, and I will gladden them in my house of prayer. Their elevation offerings and feast offerings will I find favor upon my altar, for my house will be called a house of prayer for all the peoples. Yeah, I use this one against the camps that try to say that that Gentiles or whatever can't worship the Most High.
Yeah, but what I was saying was, he said he told him to honor. He told him to keep his Sabbaths first, and
Right.
then he said when they go back, he said when they go back, then he gonna restore the slaughter and place unto them. So was they keeping the Sabbath without the slaughter place?
Hmm.
Hmm.
There it is. Hey, go to Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 1 through 3.
You said 34?
44, my bad. Ezekiel
Oh,
44.
44.
Yeah.
1 through 3. But hear now, Jacob, my servant, and Yasharah, whom I have chosen. Thus said Yahweh, who made you and fashioned you from the womb, who will
My
help
bad.
you.
Ezekiel 44. My bad.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you
I'm in
good. You
Isaiah.
good.
I'm tripping. Damn, I could have swore I was in Ezekiel. Where the hell am I at?
So we go to Ezekiel 44, verse 1 through 3. And then after that, we're going to go to Ezekiel 46, verse 3 and 4.
All right. Then he returned me towards the outer gate of the sanctuary, which faces eastward and was closed. Yahweh said to me, This gate shall be closed, and it shall not be open. No man may come through it, because Yahweh the Elohim of Yasharal has come through it. It shall be closed. It is for the prince. He is the leader, so he will sit within it to eat food before Yahweh. He shall come in by way of the hall of the eastern gate, and by that way he shall depart.
God. So the Zerubbabel's temple didn't have multiple entrances and exits, and the gate it will be shut because it's for Yahweh and for the prince. Go to Ezekiel 46, verse 3 and 4.
The people of the land shall prostrate themselves before Yahweh at the entrance of the gate on the Shabbats and on the new moons. And this is the burnt offering that the prince shall bring for Yahweh on the Sabbath day: 6 unblemished sheep and an unblemished ram, and a meal offering of 1 ephah for the ram, and a meal offering of whatever his hand gives for the sheep, with a hin of oil for each ephah on the day of the new moon. That's it.
God. So there was like kind of getting aggravated about this offering that's going to be on the Sabbath. This one lamb or whatever. Hey, Isaac, come up here, bro. Come look at this again. Hey, you mind going through it again real quick just to show Isaac 44, 1 through 3, and then 46, 3 and 4. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, hold up. 3 and 4. What was the other one?
Yeah,
That's Isaiah.
Ezekiel 44 verse 1 through 3, and then 46 verse 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Isaiah 56 too. Where's 44? Right. Then he returned me towards the outer gate of the sanctuary, which faces eastward, and it was closed. Yahweh said to me, "This gate shall be closed; it shall not be open. No man may come through it, because Yahweh, the Elohim of Yasharah, has come through it. It shall be closed. It is for the prince. He is the leader. He will sit within it to eat food before Yahweh. He shall come in by way of the hall of the eastern gate, and by that way he shall depart." Then he brought me toward the northern gate, to the front of the temple building, and behold,
Now you go right there. You go right there. So the eastern gate, the gate that faces east, Yahweh say keep it shut, for it's only for Yahweh to go in through there, and for the prince to go in through there. And when you go to chapter 46, give me 1 second. It says verse 3 and 4. And the people of the land shall also prostrate themselves at the entrance of that gate on the Sabbaths and on the new moon before Yahweh. And the burnt offering which the prince offers to Yahweh on the Sabbath shall be 6 lambs without blemish and a ram without blemish. So this burnt offering for the Sabbath that they're talking about, this never happened. And then also, where did the Zerubbabel do any offerings to the Most High anywhere in the Tanakh ever? That shit's dead. So hold on, let's keep going. So now, in these few chapters here, you'll see that they in fact offered over 400 sacrifices to Yahweh. This and the previous chapter. There'll be like 400, like around like 400 lambs or whatnot. So this is like later on. This ain't never happened yet. Like this, Zerubbabel did not offer no sacrifices to Yahweh. He didn't offer no 6 lamb. What did it say? Verse 3 and 4. He didn't offer no 6 lambs on the Sabbath and a ram on the Sabbath. Where's that at? This ain't never happened yet. Like I said, the Mashiach, the king or the prince, the Naji Mashiach, when they came out of Babylon was Cyrus, not anybody else. And he didn't do none of this. He didn't do nothing in Isaiah 11. He didn't do none of that. Y'all see it? I hope I'm not tripping.
Nah, I see that.
Gone. So yeah, like the only way to like repent to the Most High is to keep the Torah, and that's why the Nazarite vow is so important because we really should even stop calling it like that. It's the isaiYaH. It's the separated like the phrase that they use on this app for being dedicated to Yahweh only. They just say like Yah only or Tanakh only. It's actually called isaiYaH, separated, consecrated one to Yahweh only. That's what it really is. Like you know what I'm saying. So you could literally like ask them, "Hey, are you Yah only or whatnot?" They're gonna say, "Yeah." Be like, "Hey, are you isaiYaH?" They're gonna be like, "No." I'm gonna be like, "These two thoughts don't belong in the same brain." But you know what I'm saying? To each his own. And Ananiah did bring out one true thing though. I mean, it's an option whether you want to be dedicated to Yah alone or you want to go back in captivity. It is a choice. That's why he said, I offer you today two choices, life and death.
Yep, we just read that.
Gone.
Do we have a choice of life and death? Yes, he offered the choice of life and death.
God, and the Torah is what? Our life.
Hmm.
So who were they worshiping when they went astray from the Most High? Baal and Molech
Hmm.
and these idol gods were talking to them in their head and telling them not to keep the laws of the Most High, basically.
I used to teach the same thing until it struck me with Isaiah 56, and I started finding more sacrificing that we. This what the other one I was gonna go to. What's that? Jeremiah 7:21, I think.
Gone. Yeah, I got that off top right here. Do not. He says, For I never spoke with your forefathers when I brought them out of the land of Egypt concerning a burnt offering or a sacrifice, but this thing that I command them to obey me and walk in all of my statutes and ordinances and my ways.
There you
And it said,
go.
but they, like Adam, transgressed the covenant. So that's the cut for Ananiah, talking about the Nazir didn't exist.
Mm.
Because it's the same law. It's the same law. It's only when the children are rebellious that you have to give them certain different instructions to make sure they keep your one instruction to just do whatever you say.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you send your kid to, I don't know, go and make some macaroni and cheese or something, like your teenage kid, right? And like they do it wrong. So then you have to like, hey, just do it how I told you to do it. Then they do it wrong again. It's like, okay, now you read the back of the box and still do it how I told you how to do it. Now you have instructions, commands, how to do it. But really in reality, the whole point is, hey, just do what I say.
I'm gonna show you the scripture they go to is Hosea and the Lamentations, which if you read the whole chapter, it would tell you what it's really talking about.
Gone. Another point that I brought out was when the children of Israel agreed to do whatever Yahweh told them to do before he told them to do anything, that was the Nazarite vow. They dedicated themselves to him completely. We will do whatever you say. And then they were together, the Most High and his bride, Israel. And then, the Most High is like, hey, appreciate that. You made it easy on me. You agreed to be with me the way I want you to be with me forever and to do whatever I said before I told you to do anything. Now, here's what I want you to do. And they only got to two commandments where he said, do not have any other gods before me, and to love me with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might and with all your means. And guess what? They got scared. They got scared. Imagine like marrying a woman, right? And you guys don't even discuss whatever you want her to do in marriage. And she's just like, yeah, I'll do whatever you say. And you're like, hey, man, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? So now that we're married, this is what I want you to do. You don't have nobody before me, and you love me with all your heart and all your mind and all your soul and all your means. And then she gets scared and has a problem with it. Imagine that. That's what Israel did. So what Israel did was they were like, hey, Moses, you talk to the Most High and you tell us what he said to do. That's like having some other boyfriend and him being your friend. And hey, yeah, she wants to know what you want her to do. The Most High is like, what type of weird situation is this?
Oh, I got another one. So write this one down too. Leviticus 23:3, and then Leviticus, what is it, 16:31, where it says the Sabbath is forever. And then Exodus 31:16.
Yeah, remember in Malachi when it said, or was it Malachi when it said, remember the covenant of Moses that he got on Mount Horeb,
Yeah.
or the law from, yeah, that's them, like that's the ones that we can follow basically anywhere, them 10. Like that's
Well,
blank.
this the thing. It's say, yeah, it's say like, okay, so you ask them which laws can we keep, and they're gonna say the Ten Commandments. But when you read the Ten Commandments, what does it say to keep the Sabbath, right?
Hmm. That's the fourth commandment.
So we'd only have 9 then.
But yeah, even the Most High, He's a genius, right? So when you read those verses, He, hold on, little girl, He wrote it different for them, for when they're in the land and when the commandments, like just the Ten Commandments. He said to keep. How did he write it? Hold on, give me a second. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on, give me 1 second. We're gonna deal with it right now. Okay. So Exodus 20. Hold on. Yeah, what is it? Exodus 20, right? Shemot 20. All right, let's see here. Shemot 20. Oh, commandment number 1. So this, hold on, let's go back 1 chapter. Hey, chill out for a second. So Exodus chapter 19. This is what it says. Okay, here it is. Exodus 19, verse 5. And now, if you obey me and keep my covenant, this is before he tells them the commandments in chapter 20. So he says, and now, if you obey me and keep my covenant, you shall be to me a treasure out of all the peoples of the earth, for mine is the entire earth. Hey, wait. And you shall be to me a kingdom of princes and a holy nation. And these are the words that you shall speak to the children of Israel. Moses came and summoned all the elders of Israel and placed before them all these words that Yahweh told them. And all the people replied in unison and said, all that Yahweh has spoken we shall do. And Moses took the words of the people back to Yahweh. And then Yahweh came and appeared to them in chapter 20. And then he goes to say all the commandments. Number 1, I am Yahweh your God, who took you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. You shall have no God, you shall not have the gods of others in my presence, and you shall not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness which is in the Hey, I said stop. Just wait. I'm gonna play in a second. Hold on, okay? All right. You shall not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness which is in the heavens above, or which is on the earth below, or which is on the water beneath. You shall neither prostrate yourself before them nor worship them, for I, Yahweh, your God, am a zealous God who visits the iniquity of the fathers upon the sons, upon the third and fourth generation, and those who hate me. And I will perform loving kindness to thousands of generations, to those who love me and to those who keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of Yahweh your Elohim in vain, for Yahweh will not hold blameless anyone who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to sanctify it. So let me go to it in the language real quick. Exodus 20, verse 8. So it says it later on in the chapter. You gonna wait or what? Thank you. I'm almost done. Okay, I promise. All right. She want me to play Rapunzel and dolls with her and stuff. She's poking me in the face with it. All right, hold on. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. It says, Zakar et yom hashevat la kodesha. You shall remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. It says it in the rest of the Tanakh how to do the Sabbath in the land. But right here, just the Ten Commandments, like Zakar means to remember or to burn incense, to make mention of, to be mindful, to remember, to record, to recount, to bring to remembrance, to think of, to meditate upon. Zakar et yom hashevat. So all those words, the Sabbath day, La Kodesha, to keep it holy. So zakar, to burn incense, to make mention of, be mindful, to remember, to bring to remembrance, to call, to come, to think of well. Okay, eta yom Shabbat la Kodesha. You shall do all those things, eta, the Sabbath day, to keep it holy, to keep it set apart, to proclaim it, to purify it, to consecrate it, to appoint that day. All right. So like in the rest of the Tanakh, it talks about how to do it in a different way when they're in the land, but this tells you how to do it outside of the land. But okay, so this is what it says. Sheshet yamim ta'ebod wa esheta kal melakteka. 6 days you shall labor, and you shall do all your work. Vayom hasheve Shabbat Yahweh Elohecha le ta'esha kal malecha ata ubanecha ubateka. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh, your God. Right. So what did the Most High call the seventh day? Y'all there?
That's
Holy.
Holy.
oh,
Let's read it again. It said right here. You're also all right. You're also all correct. But this is what it says right here. We yom hasheve Shabbat Yahweh Elohecha. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh, your God. So he calls it the Sabbath day.
Con.
So who are we? Who are we to say that the seventh day is not the Sabbath?
they go to that scripture where where it says that your foot shall not find rest. But I know that's a generational curse.
Khan, this is what it said right here. We yom hasheve Shabbat Yahweh Elohecha leta esha kal melacha ata. But the seventh day is the Sabbath day, or it shall be called the Sabbath day. Yahweh, your God, um, will not do any work in it, and neither will you. Kal melchai ata, ubaneka, ubateka, your son, your daughter, abdecha, wa amteka, your manservant, your maidservant, ubehamteka, wegareka, nor your livestock, nor the stranger, the ger, Ashar Bisharecha, who is within your gates, or the word for Bisharecha means your doors. Or and it says, Ke sheshet yamim asha Yahuwah al hashemayim wayat ha'aratz. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth. Eta he made the heavens and the earth. Eta hayam wayat kal. And the sea, and all ashar bam wayena bayom, and on all that and that day, and all that is in them. But on that day he rested. On that day, hashebe. Like the word hashebe is like seven. Seven is like Sabbath. Okay, so hashebe al kan berak Yahweh eta yom hashevat. The seventh on this bayom hashebe, on the seventh day, upon it shall be blessed that day. Yahweh eta yom hashevat. By Yahweh that day, the Sabbath, we kodeshah, and he made it holy. Wait. So who made the Sabbath holy? Is it up to us to make the Sabbath holy, or did the Most High already make it holy?
Yahweh.
So why the sons of Baal are teaching against the Torah?
Oh no.
Shit, I don't know either. All right, next one. It says, then it's like, do not murder, le tresha, le tenap, adultery, le tegnap, do not steal, la ta'ena bareakak e ad shakar, do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Le tamad bayat re'eka la tamad eshet. Do not covet the house of your neighbor. Okay, so now in Numbers chapter 12, verse 6 and 7, where it talks about how like he speaks to a prophet in a dream, in a vision. And then he says, I don't speak that way to Moses. I speak to him mouth to mouth. He says, because Moses is faithful in my house. Let's go to it. Let's go to it. Let's go to it. Numbers chapter 12. Omid the bar. Okay, because we're gonna figure out what this house is real quick. Because like they got it confused. Like okay, okay, 12, and then we're gonna go to 6. It says, Wayomer Shema na dabore. And he said, hear now my words. Am ye neba achem Yahweh b'amara elah. If there be a prophet among you, I Yahweh will speak to him in a vision, b'amara, or a looking glass. Et wada ba'helom adaberbo.
Mm.
I will make myself known to him in a dream. Okay, so I shall speak to him. So the vision is to wake him up. And it says, Lekan abde masha bekal bayate na eman he. Not so like my servant Moses, who is faithful in all my house. What house is this? Was they in Israel? Did they have a temple? What house is this? It says Yahweh's house.
Yeah, yeah, also.
That's the mind. It says, Pe al pe adeber, mouth to mouth will I speak to him. Bao umare wela behidat, utamenat Yahweh yabit. Mouth to mouth I will speak to him, and even openly to him, and not in dark speeches or riddles to confuse him. Utamenat, in the form and same manner and image and similitude and likeness, Yahweh Yahweh. He beholds this image, the same fashion, manner, or likeness or image of Yahweh he beholds. He says, Umadea le yaratem la debar ba abade ba Moshe. And why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? So when you speak against Moses, what happens?
The Most High gonna destroy you.
Well, yeah, let's go to it. So it's in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 58. So it's a Deuteronomy 28, verse. Well, we also just read it in the commandments. Do not speak in his name falsely or like bear false witness and all these other
Yeah.
things. Like, oh, Moses wasn't telling the truth when he never said not to keep the Sabbath, not one time. This is what it says. Amle tashmar la ashot et akal dabere hatarawa hazot. If you do not observe and to fulfill all the words of this Torah, haketuvim bashefer hazeh, that are written in this book, la yera eta Hashem ha nikvad, to fear his majestic, honorable name, his abounding name, his glorious name. Wahanawara haze eta Yahweh Elohecha, to fear Yahweh in this name of your God. So the only way that you will fear this God is to fulfill all the words of this Torah. But what's the beginning of wisdom and knowledge?
Understanding.
Well, it's to
Wait, the
fear
beginning of
Yahweh.
wisdom.
Oh,
Come on, fear
Yeah,
Yahweh.
fear yeah.
So when we speak against Moses and Yahweh, do we fear him?
nah,
No,
no,
Are we
because
wise when we do that?
nah, no.
So here we go again. Psalms 19, verse 7. The Torah of Yahweh is perfect, restoring one's soul or the mind. The testimony of Yahweh is faithful, making the simple one wise. So we got to keep the Torah no matter what. And I don't know what type of gods are out here. Well, they're not even real gods; they're idol gods. But somebody hears Yahweh in their head, telling them not to keep the Torah. Maybe these niggas is Gentiles. I don't know. Wait, so is there an actual devil? Or is it like Yahweh putting his wicked spirit on them?
Will put his wicked spirit on them.
God. So, hey, Yahweh probably is talking to them in their head, like, hey, yeah, you see my sons over there, the isaiYaH with the crown of God on his head? Don't be like them. You don't got to do that. You just do whatever you want. And it says, be sure to teach against what he says, against what Moses says, and against what I say every day to make my prince look real, real good, like a real prince among the people. So, did Yahweh ever tell wait, no. Yahweh told us that he gave us the Torah to separate us from all other nations and how they act, right?
Hmm.
Damn. So if Yahweh is when they read I think somebody got to put Miguel sleeping. I'm gonna just, hey brother, move Miguel down real quick. He's sleep. All right, there you go. You got it. All right.
I
So
got him. I'm here, bro.
when somebody's reading, oh, I thought you fell asleep, bro. All right. So when somebody reads the Tanakh and Yahweh is speaking to them in their mind and telling them the opposite of what he's really saying, would that person be cursed?
Pretty much, yeah.
Hmm.
How do we get out of the curses?
Obeying his commandments.
Right. All praise to the
And they're
Most High.
not hard because when you was reading
Prime
Exodus,
example. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
when you was reading Exodus, I thought to myself when he says how he gave you a quick example how to keep it. He never the first thing that came out of his mouth was we should take a lamb and sacrifice it. He said to keep this out there holy. And when you read on, you did not read to find a lamb or a goat to sacrifice it. No, he says 7 days you should work. I mean, 6 days how you work, and the 7th day you rest. You know, anybody could do that. Let me go to Deuteronomy 28. So, brother, you can't rest on the Sabbath, brother? It says here to keep it holy. It says to rest. Oh, no, but I got to do this. I got to do that. Well, according to the Ten Commandments, it just says to rest. And then it stops. All right, Deuteronomy 20, what verse?
15 and read down.
All right, chapter 28, verse 15, Deuteronomy. However, if you do not obey Yah, your father, and do not carefully follow his laws and his statutes, which I command you this day, then all these curses will come upon you and accompany you. There it is. Want to read more?
Yeah, read down some more.
All right. Cursed will you be in the city, and cursed will you be in the country. Cursed will you be. Cursed will be your basket and your storehouse. Cursed will be the fruit of your body.
Now, this was the generational curses.
Come on. Read verse 20.
Yah will send upon you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to do, until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the wickedness you have done in forsaking me.
Come on. Let me bring it out in the language real quick. Let's go into it, see what it's saying. So Deuteronomy 28, verse 20. So if you do not keep the commandments, it says, Yeshalah, he will send, or he will appoint and carry out and push forth. It says Yahweh will push forth and carry out upon you, becha eta, on you, hamerah, cursing you, etahamuhema, giving you destruction, trouble, vexation, confusion, wayet hamigaret bechal, and rebuke and sufferation bechal in all mishlah that you lay and set forth, yadecha by your hand, ashar ta'isha to do, ad hashimadecha until you are destroyed and perished, wayad abdecha mayer mifane until you perish, until you are completely broken and undone and caused to vanish quickly, mayer mifane, because ra'ah of the wickedness, badness, and sorrow of your deeds, ma'alelecha, asher, because you have azabtane, because you have forsaken and failed, yadbech Yahweh vecha eta, to cleave to Yahweh. Like, yo, oh, like the Most High is like dropping, like he really putting curses out here.
Yo, you could even go to Wikipedia. Even Wikipedia knows how to keep the Sabbath. Let's see what our friend Wikipedia says. It says, according to the biblical narrative, when God revealed the Ten Commandments to the Israelites at biblical Mount Sinai, they were commanded to remember the Sabbath and keep it holy by not doing any work and allowing the whole household to cease from work. This was in recognition of God's act of creation and the special status that God had conferred on the seventh day during the creation week. He didn't mention anything about sacrificing animals and going to the temple.
Yeah, that was just for the priests anyway. So I mean, it wasn't like everybody was doing that.
Hey, Psalms 103, 17 through 18. That's one of the main things right there. Like keeping the commandments protects you. That's how you dwell within the most high's kindness. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody could pull it, Psalms 103, verse 17 through 18, that's the kicker right there.
God, you already know. We keep that off top, off the memory banks, bro. But Yahweh's kindness is everlasting to everlasting upon those who fear him, and his charity to sons of sons. It should say La Bane Banayam, to those who keep his covenant, and to those who remember his commandments to perform them.
That's fire right there. That's the dagger right there.
But you know what? Wait, so this is what, because like I said, Wikipedia for some reason knows more than some people, because it says here the Torah portrays the Sabbath concept both in terms of resting on the seventh day, and allowing the land to lie fallow during each seventh year. The motivation is described as going beyond a sign and remembrance of Yah's original rest during creation week, and extends to a concern that one's servants, family, and livestock be able to rest and be refreshed from their work. So the seventh day is a day of rest and refresh from their work first. They added rituals that, like you said, that the high priest and the priest did, as part of. But the first, I didn't know what was sacrificed in the day of creation when he says, and the Lord rested on the seventh day. Even the Lord, he rested on the seventh day. So even the Most High is keeping the Sabbath, and we can't keep
Hey,
it,
is the Most High in the land, Miguel?
and he ain't in the land.
It just gets worse and worse. That argument they got is crazy. Like the whole book just falls on your head at that point. But that's the thing. Like some people want to follow man and not the Most High. So like they'll just agree for no reason. But like when And when like one person in like a group starts to see the truth and they don't stand up for it, all they do is like make them worse. You know what I'm saying? Like you letting them do it. Like that's like Amos 3:3. How can two walk together unless they be agreed? That's like partiality. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it goes with the whole thing of people keep saying this, and we know that it logically makes no sense. If we see something wrong somewhere, do we throw out the whole thing? Like, no, we just keep trying to go deeper and try to just get more revelations and really understand. So the problem was, how do we keep it if we can't sacrifice animals? Oh, so that was the thing that was nagging your head. That was the concept that was nagging your brains. Then we start noticing that in the first commandment that was given about the Sabbath, it didn't mention anything about sacrificing animals. It just said, "Don't work and rest." And then
Con,
if you
bro.
can take that, then there's your Sabbath.
That's your Sabbath out the land. Then when you go in the land, then we're going to restore the priests and you're going to start sacrificing again.
There it is.
Hell, even the small hats, they not even sacrificing on the Sabbath. So it's like, and they supposedly in the land, allegedly. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's like that's why I keep saying knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay, you got the knowledge, you came up with your knowledge. Now we got to go with the understanding. The understanding is, hey, um, this is what they rituals that they did. But what happens when that's taken away because you're not in the land?
It says
What
the commandments is not
wisdom
commandments is not
says you
grievous.
say
It's not
what?
hard to do. Commandments is not grievous. It's not hard to do.
Right. You know, and I want to say common sense, but because sense is not common, we gotta let's go with wisdom. What do you do when you don't have? Okay, there's a scripture that says when you don't have a lamb, you could sacrifice with flour.
Hmm.
Do we need to go there now? Oh, I can't sacrifice. Well, take some flour and take some incense. That's your sacrifice.
You can also pray. Pray is a prayer offer.
Wow. So
Right.
we just use wisdom to fill that part in. That's your wisdom.
Hey Miguel, so like I be wanting to get to the point of asking like, okay, so what's the purpose of reading a book if you can't keep the laws? Like if that's the case, you might as well read African proverbs and just get whatever type of knowledge
Remember
and
Isaac?
morality from there.
Remember Isaac when I showed you the prayer with David? I mean, when Daniel prayed in captivity and
Yeah.
he kept the commandments in captivity.
Con.
God, that's why I brought out Daniel in the last room where he was like, "Praise be to Yah, the mighty God, Aliyawan, the Most High God, that keeps the covenant to those that keep His commandments." This was after he repented, so he repented just to not keep the commandment. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't even make sense. It's like that's how you know, because no one is actually that dumb. It's like actually like a wicked spirit making them do that.
Well, you know what's funny is that this thing of keeping his commandments, like they kind of doing what the Christians do. You know, oh well, you have to keep all of them. If you break one, you break them all. But then
It's not
the
the
ones
New
with wisdom say, well, I keep the
Testament.
Ten Commandments, and then everybody like shuts up because like yeah, we kind of all do to keep the Ten Commandments, except for the ones who's cheating on their wives and coveting and stealing. Then they start thinking about all the bad things they did. But technically speaking, if you're not doing anything outside of those Ten Commandments, that's a real good start. But then they want to say, oh, well, you're not keeping the rituals. Well, That wasn't part of the Ten Commandments in Exodus 20, was it?
Come on, come on. And this is the sad part, right? Even Jebus told them if they want to inherit the kingdom to keep the commandments. Even Jebus told them that. So like when you start taking steps back, like we're supposed to be advancing, you know what I'm saying? Like wisdom in Proverbs, it says wisdom will promote thee to give to thy head an ornament of grace, a crown of tiferet, beauty, majesty, glory, splendor, greatness of the most high, right? Like we're supposed to be advancing. Like when you start taking steps back, like worse than Christianity, bro, like that's bugged out to me. Like I'll just be like, yo, like I'm like, man, like how many times am I gonna ask the same question over and over? And like, and I told them, I'm like, yo, I'm doing what the eye doctor does when he puts the put your makes you put your face in the thing and he's flipping the lenses one or two, one or two. I'm flipping it to two every time, no matter what. And I'm like, yo, you don't see the answer yet? Like, damn.
Oh no, that brother was not going to give in to his idol. He was not going to let that
Ananias,
go. That was funny though. I ain't gonna lie.
Ananias was wrong. Ananias lost that,
Well, yeah, he was sitting there
and I said
saying
it.
Jesus is higher than the Most High. Yeah.
He didn't want to say it out of his lips, but I'm like, listen, let me say something, right? He could have just gave in and give you your problems. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Then that's right, vow is whatever you were trying to convey. I forgot how you was putting it, but that just shows how fear, how much fear they have of that idol, where they're afraid to speak anything that doesn't go with the narrative.
How many times we've been telling Ananias?
Yeah, I told him, I said, is the crown of God above Jesus's crown? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so is the crown holder of of the crown of God higher than Jesus? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, is the crown of God higher than Jesus? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so is the Nazarite higher than Jesus? He's like, no. I'm like, bro, I keep flipping one or two,
And then
one or
when he finally gave in and said, "Well, Jesus is a Nazarite," then it got worse.
and then
Then it was
he
like, "Well,
started
do you drink
denying the New
wine?"
Testament. Yeah, he started denying his own New Testament. I'm like, so you don't
He didn't
believe in the
drink.
Torah, and now you don't believe in the New Testament either.
He wasn't even a Nazarite for real.
Yeah, he was denying that Jesus was drinking wine, and I'm like, yo, did he give other people wine to drink in remembrance of him? He's like, yeah. So I was like, was Jesus teaching the Torah or something different? He's like, he's teaching the same thing. I'm like, brother, like, I don't. He might be a Hamite. I don't know. No, Hamites. No, 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 no. Hamites knew Yahweh when Joseph was there, and they knew of Yahweh again when he did the miracles. So, and then Solomon's wife was Pharaoh's daughter. So he's not a Hamite. He's a Girgashite. We don't know what that sucker is, but he hates the Torah though, and he hates JC too. So I'm like, yo, do you believe in anything, or you just some like person should be in a padded room with a straitjacket on, want to argue with people for no reason?
Yeah, when they go at it, when he go at it with the when he go at it with the when he go at it with 44 in there, he just always get shut
Well,
down.
no, bro. They was telling him that he was making good points and stuff in that last room. They was in all in the comments. Yeah, Ananiah, you got that one. Yeah, brother, you doing good, bro. I'm like, yo, no, the fuck he's not. Like he's forsaking the Torah, forsaking Yahweh, and forsaking his Messiah Jesus. So he don't believe in nothing. You know what he believes in? Being, you know, the them boxers that lose on purpose so that you could get higher up. He
Mm-hmm.
believes in being a professional loser.
Well, he definitely believed in his own personal doctrine, because I would say this, certain things that I didn't consider, but I remember back in the days when I was in ISUPK, right, and there was teaching that JC was not born of a virgin. I remember reading it in all the Gospels, And I was like, but it sounds like they're saying she's born of a virgin. It took some time for me to grasp the doctrine of what you're reading is not actually saying what it's saying. That's one thing about ISUPK was very good at. When it's something did not fit the narrative, it's convincing you that it's not what you think it's saying. You gotta look at it this way. And then they hit you with the
God,
precepts here and there. Even with the whole thing about, oh, those Gentiles, Gentiles just mean nations. So if the Israelites are not following the ways of Torah or whatever, they would be considered Gentile. That whole way of just you read the scriptures and it's like it's not saying what it's really saying. And I
God,
know some
even ISUBK keeps the Sabbath.
right, but they do keep the Sabbath. We did keep the Sabbath. That is true. I ain't gonna lie to you. I kind of like the whole doctrine of, you know, the whole it's not saying what it's actually saying. But then I realized that hey, it kind of contradicts both sides of the spectrum because in one minute the New Testament is telling you, yeah, she's born of a virgin. Then the other minute they're telling you, yeah, but he's of the seed of David. It's all like a crazy person. It's like, well, which one is it? Is he of a seed of David or is he born of a virgin? You can't have them both. You can't be both seed of David and the virgin at the same time. But that's what the New Testament does for you.
Yeah, then they say, oh, well, the virgin just mean she was young. She was a young woman who never slept with who had never got married to a man. And then the people in the Talmud, they be like, well, Mary was a whore. It's just messy, bro. It's just too much
Yeah,
stuff. Oh,
you're right. You're right. But see, it's like something that Sage brought this up and she was right with the brothers that was with her. It's like when we come from Christianity, is sometimes as we shake off all that type of Christian doctrine away, certain things kind of stick a little bit on us. You know what I'm saying? We think we have everything totally gone, but somehow, saying certain concepts still because they got a lot of the understanding from the Torah, so we know that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like then how can I have a clean slate? Is dropping New Testament. You gotta go 7 years on Torah. Just stay away from the New Testament because every once in a while when you creep back in there, because it's like all right. For example, there's one thing every once in a while, if I can't find something in the Tanakh or the Torah, it's like I would jump into the New Testament because I know it's referring to Tanakh. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, like for example, if you go to when she talk about, you know, about your neighbor, we know he gets that concept from the Torah. You know what I'm saying? Love your neighbor as thyself. You know, so but then it's like, who's your neighbor? It's your people, and then also your people. If your people ain't following Torah, are they your neighbor? You know what I'm saying? I would trust a person that's keeping Torah, that's my neighbor, versus a neighbor that just happens to look like me, but cannot trust him. And he's over here fornicating and come to find out he's sleeping with people's wives and everything.
No, you can't.
I can't trust that person around my wife. So, you know,
God. So this is the point right here. When in Psalms 119, verse 18, it say, uncover my eyes so that I may behold and be able to see the hidden things, the hard to see things, the hard to reach things, the hard to grasp things, the mysteries from the Torah, the secret things from the Torah. Like yo, like when we go into the wilderness again, when exactly are we gonna learn the law? So you gotta learn it now. You gotta learn it now, because it says that when you go into the wilderness, that's where the Most High purges out the ones that will be wicked and rebellious. But it's like it's simple mathematics, though. It's simple mathematics, and it all comes down to this. Be like, what is wickedness? Oh, it's sin. Okay, what is a sin? Transgression of the law. That's even in the New Testament. Well, okay, fair enough. What do we do when we repent from wickedness? Well, we start to walk in the ways of the Most High. Well, where do we find that? Oh, the Torah. So, are we teaching? What do you call them niggas that worship Molech and shit? Fuck, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like shit's bugged out. The Freemasons. Do they believe in keeping the Torah? No. Do they worship Molech? Yes.
So they believe in breaking the Torah.
Well, yeah, they use it as a trick. They try to get other people to believe in the Torah, and then they don't believe in it. It's like a trick. But that's what the Catholic priests do. That's witchcraft. That's being a wizard, a warlock. But yeah, we just brought out so many verses, and it's a damn shame, man, because there's all these bug out motherfuckers on this app that will keep saying that Jesus is in Isaiah. But watch how when we read through this whole book of Isaiah, that's just gonna disappear. Why they won't come read?
We
They
got
try.
we got to get Ananiah on one of these reading sessions, especially when we get up to in the 50s and the 40s.
But that's the thing. He don't believe in Jesus either. He don't believe in anything. He just believes in just arguing just to argue, basically. We already proved that in the last room. He don't believe in the Torah and he don't believe in the New Testament.
You talking about Ananiah?
Yeah. And they over there, they encouraging him to keep getting beat up. Yeah, man, you got that one. You doing good. Like, no, he's not. Like,
So
he's
that's
getting his
what
face
I call
dragged
them.
against the pavement for a whole hour. For a whole hour.
I call them a Christian.
He ain't even a Christian. He's just like some random dude with the Bible. Don't believe in none of it. I don't know. I'm glad he actually stepped up to the plate though, because I've been like kind of talking to him in the back chat. I'll be like, yo, Ananias, when you gonna get away from the Catholics and come holler at your brother, man?
He be hanging out with the One West camps.
And he be in the Grand Rising Room with 20,000 different type of Christians. I'm like, bro, when you gonna come chop it up with your brother, man? So that's why I kicked the other
Hey, look at
brother
my
out, Kavan.
PTR, Menelik. Throw the damn towel, like of Rocky Ford when Apollo was getting beat up. They don't want him to throw in the towel. They want him to keep with the dumb shit, like. And that's the thing. We got to stop. Like, I think a lot of people, they try to they try to force their interpretation of scripture on the other people, and that's why they like arguing. I don't think they breach the wall of understanding that in their brain. Like, they're rooted in debating. Like, you have to see it my way. You have to see it my way. And it's like, bro, I don't see it your way. I see it the Torah way. The Torah is keep Torah. It's keep the law, statutes, and commandments. This should be your wisdom in the sight of the nations. It's Isaiah 33 and 6. Wisdom should be the stability of thy times. It's Psalms 103, 17 through 18. It's Jeremiah. It just don't stop. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to realize, like, it's bigger than just what we feel. And I think that we see that sentiment all throughout the scriptures, regardless of how we feel. It's like, okay, you gonna know once you get into that Torah.
Yeah, I was just reading what the book of Jubilees says about the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Just out of curiosity, you know, and it's funny because it's the same narrative. It's not even, it doesn't even stray away, but it's a fun read because it again it doesn't say anything about what they were saying, which is if you can't sacrifice, you cannot do it, and then we ought not to do it because we can't sacrifice. This is what it says: and behold, the commandments regarding the Sabbath, I have written them down for thee, and all the judgments of his laws. 6 days without labor, but on the seventh day, in the Sabbath of the Lord your God, in it ye shall do no manner of work, ye and your sons and your manservants and your maidservants, and all your cattle, and the sojourner also who is with you. And the man that doth any work on it shall die. Whoever desecrates that day, whoever lies with his wife, see, they added that one. Whoever desecrates that day, whoever lies with his wife, or whoever says he will do something on it, that he will set out on the journey thereon in regard to any buying or selling, and whoever draweth water thereon, which he has not prepared for himself on the sixth day, and whosoever takes up any burden to carry it out for his tent or out of his house shall die. You shall do no work whatever on the Sabbath day, save the only work it was allowed, save that ye have prepared for yourself on the sixth day, so as to eat and drink and rest and keep Sabbath from all work on that day, and to bless the Lord your God, who has given you a day of festival and the holy day and the day of the holy kingdom for all Israel is this day among their days forever. For great is the honor which the Lord has given to Israel, that they should eat, drink, and be satisfied on this festival day, and rest thereon from all labor, which belongeth to the labor of the children of men, save burning. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is the labor you do. Save burning frankincense and bringing oblations and sacrifice before the Lord for days and for Sabbath. So that part we could keep. We could burn the frankincense. We just can't do the sacrifice because we don't have the temple. This work alone shall be done on the Sabbath day in the sanctuary of the Lord your power, that they may atone for Israel with sacrifice continually from day to day for memorial, well pleasing before the Lord, and he may receive them always. I ain't gonna read all of it, but again, the wisdom is okay, Ox. We don't have the temple, we don't have, we can't sacrifice, we don't have the high priest, but man, that was like the last thing. The first thing was like, don't work, rest. You could do that anywhere.
Where were you just reading from?
I was reading from the book of Jubilees. Uh, is this thing laws regarding the Jubilees and the Sabbath? So this is
Gone.
from the book of Jubilees.
Gone. Hey, read Jubilees chapter 1, start at like verse 7.
Chapter 1, verse 7.
Gone.
All right. I got to go on the internet for that one, so it's going to take me a minute.
It's all good.
Book of Jubilees, chapter 1, verse 7. Okay, here it goes. And, and do thou write for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee this day. For I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land of which I swore to their fathers, to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, saying, unto your seed will I give a land flowing with milk and honey, and they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange gods, which cannot deliver them from aught from aught of their tribulation. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them, for they will forget all my commandments, all that I commanded them, and they will walk after the Gentiles and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their gods. And these will prove unto them an offense and a tribulation and an affliction and a snare. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances and my commandments and the festivals of my covenant and my Sabbath and my holy place which I have hallowed for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle and my sanctuary which I have hallowed for myself in the midst of the land, that I should set my name upon it, and that it should dwell there. And they will make no and they will make to themselves high places and groves and graven images, and they will worship each his own graven image, so as to go astray, and they will sacrifice their children to demons and to all the works of the error of their hearts. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear, and will slay the witness also. And they will persecute those who seek the law. And they will, wow, that's heavy. And they will persecute those who seek the law, and they will abrogate and change everything so as to work evil before my eyes. Wow, that's crazy. And I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hand of the Gentiles for captivity and for a prey and for devouring, and will remove them from the midst of the land. And I will scatter them amongst the Gentiles, and they will forget all my laws and all my commandments and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moons and Sabbaths and festivals and jubilees and ordinances. And after this, they will turn to me from amongst the Gentiles with all their heart and with all their soul and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the Gentiles, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them. When they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul, and I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness, and I will remove them the plant of uprightness with all my heart and with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse. And they shall be the head and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will dwell with them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people in truth and righteousness. And I will not forsake them nor fail them, for I am the Lord their power. And Moses fell on his face and prayed and said, O Lord, my power, do not forsake thy people and thy inheritance, so that they should wander in the error of their hearts, and do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the Gentiles, lest they should rule over them and cause them to sin against thee. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be lifted up upon thy people, and create in them an upright spirit, and let not the spirit of Belial or Balaam, whatever, rule over them to accuse them before thee, and to snare them from all the paths of righteousness, so that they may perish from before thy face. But they are thy people and thy inheritance, which thou hast delivered with thy great power from the hands of the Egyptians. Create in them a clean heart and a holy spirit, and let them not be snared in their sins from henceforth until eternity. And the Lord said unto Moses, I know contr- I know their contrariness and their thoughts and their stiff neckedness, and they will not be obedient till they confess their own sin and the sin of their fathers. And after this, they will turn to me in all uprightness and with all their heart and with all their soul. And I will circumcise the foreskin of their heart and the foreskin of the heart of their seed. And I will create in them a holy spirit, and I will cleanse them so that they shall not turn away from me from that day unto eternity. That- So I ain't gonna lie, man. Anybody that says that JC is greater than Moses, I'm gonna start getting upset because Moses spoke to y'all face to face, and even Moses tried to be like, "Yo, Lord, come on, give your children a break, man. Don't let this thing happen." And the most like, "Nah, I know their hearts. They're gonna have to go through this." And once they go through this, that's when they're gonna be like, "Okay, I'm gonna turn back to my father. I'm gonna go to this captivity no more." But But man, I don't know if I could keep that Sabbath, man, because we in the land of captivity. Like, God damn, this is what I'm talking about. You just contrite as hell. Why you keep finding an excuse not to keep my Sabbath? I just told you, rest and don't work. Yeah, but if I can't sacrifice, I can't do the whole thing. Well, you got the minds of James. If you break one law, you break them all. Is that what James told you? You break one commandment, you break them all. So that's why you're afraid to keep one. Man, that's that New Testament garbage.
Hey, let me pull a scripture. I don't know if y'all pulled this scripture already because my phone had died, but I don't know if y'all pulled this. Deuteronomy 27:26. It says, "Accursed is one who will not uphold the words of this Torah to perform them, and the entire people shall say, Amen." So yeah, it's accursed is one who will not uphold the words of the Torah to perform them.
Deuteronomy 7:11.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, if anything, we should be finding excuses to do this Torah, even if we're not doing it perfectly.
That's
Versus,
what I'm saying. Deuteronomy 7:11. Let me read it. 7:11. It says, "You shall observe the commandment and the decrees and the ordinances that I command you today to perform them." So observe them, decrees, ordinances, commandments that He commands us this that day to perform them. So we have to perform them. Like so, brothers can say we coming up with excuses, but it's like you said, we should be coming with excuses to keep them, opposed to trying to fight against the grain. Like, no, don't keep them. No, you ain't got to sacrifice. We not supposed to keep it. Next thing they know, they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, you can't keep the commandments, period, because we in such a downtrodden state, and ain't nobody gonna do it." Like, so it's like next thing you know, they're gonna be teaching against loving your father and your mother. Next thing you know, they'll be teaching against love God. Well, how you gonna love God? Is anybody really loving God? That's what I'm saying. Like when we play this technicality game, it's a slippery slope. And that's all I'm
con,
saying. It's a slippery slope. Eventually, you gonna marginalize yourself out of a whole foundational belief system.
Can someone bring out Lamentations? Because Ananiah misquoted man Lamentations.
Lamentations, what?
What was that scripture? I forgot.
And when I go to Lamentations, you are absolutely right. I heard out of a person's mouth, and it was all out of his heart, but it was dark as hell. Like, hey,
What scripture was that in
I can't.
Lamentations, Menelik?
Well, I don't even remember what he pulled.
I think he peeled Lamentations 26, I think.
All I know is what he said wasn't in there though.
I remember there was two scriptures he mentioned. He mentioned Deuteronomy, then he mentioned something in Lamentations. But I don't think he got to Lamentations. I think the room blew up before we got to it. Oh man.
He started from 26 and he started from 3. But let's start from 1.
Wait, Lamentations, what chapter?
26.
I don't know if there's a 26 in Lamentations. I'm not. It's not in my Bible.
Wait, wait. What do Lamentations go up to?
In my Bible, it goes up to 5 chapters.
I think it's two. Could it be two?
It could be.
Try two.
Let's see. You want me to start from one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like reading. All right, chapter 2, verse 1. How Yah has covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger. He has thrown
This
down
it.
from heaven to. Huh?
This it.
All right, Con. How Yah has covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger. He has thrown down from heaven to earth the glory of Israel, and did not remember his footstool in the day of his anger. Yah has swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob, and has not spared. In his wrath he has thrown down the fortress of the daughters of Judah. He has brought them down to the ground. He has polluted the kingdom and its princes. In fierce anger he has cut off every horn, strength, and pride of Israel. He has withdrawn his right hand at the approach of the enemy. He has burned against Jacob like a flaming fire which devours on every side. He bent his bow like an enemy. His right hand hath prepared like an adversary. He has slain all who were pleasing to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion. He has poured out his fury. Yah became like an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel. He has swallowed up all her palaces. He has destroyed her fortresses and has increased mourning and lamentations in the daughter of Ju- Judah. Oh, that's Judah. Anyway, Judah. He has laid waste his tabernacles as if it were a garden. He has destroyed his place of congregation. Yah has caused the appointed feast. Okay, maybe, okay, I'm going to read this very careful and slow. He has laid waste his tabernacle as if it were a garden. He has destroyed his place of congregation. Yah has caused the appointed feast and Sabbath to be forgotten in Zion. In the indignation of his anger, he has despised the king and the priest.
Where he said it was forgotten in?
That was verse 6.
He said it was forgotten in Zion.
Right. It was forgotten in Zion. That's what he said.
Keep reading.
That's key. You're right. Um, Yah has rejected his altar. He has abhorred his sanctuary. He gave over to the enemy the walls of her palaces. They have made a noise in the house of Yah as though it were an appointed feast day. Yah planned to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He has stretched out a line. He has not withdrawn his hand from destruction. So he made ramparts and wall lament together their language. Her gates have sunk into the ground. He has destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are amongst the Gentiles. The Lord is thought no more, and her prophets find no vision from Yah. The elders of daughter of Zion sit on the ground in silence. They throw dust on their heads and clothe themselves with sackcloth. The virgins of Jerusalem bow their heads to the ground. My eyes are worn out with tears. My mind is in torment. My heart is poured out on the ground at the destruction of my people, because the children and infants faint in the streets of the city. They said to their mothers, where is grain and wine? And they fainted like the wounded in the streets of the city, as their lives ebbed away in their mother's arms. What can I say in protest? With that can I compare you, O daughter of Jerusalem? To what can I equal you, that I may comfort you, O virgin daughter of Zion? For your ruin is vast as the sea. Who can heal you? Your prophets saw visions for you that were false and deceptive. deceptive. They did not expose your iniquity to wall off your captivity. They'll have envisioned for you false promises of hope and deception. All who pass by clap hands at you. They hiss in scorn and shake their heads at the daughter of Jerusalem and ask, is this the city they call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All your enemies open wide their mouth against you. They scoff and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Yes, this is the day where we have waited for. We have lived to see it. Yahweh have done that he planned. He has fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He has torn down and has not pitied. He has caused your enemy to rejoice over you. He has exalted the horn, strength. He has exalted the horn of your adversaries. Their heart cried out to Yah, O wall of the daughter of Zion. Let tears run down like a river day and night. Give yourself no rest. Give the apple of your eye no relief. Arise, cry out at night, and each watch begins. Pour out your heart like water before the face of Yah. Lift up your hands toward him for the lives of your young children who faint from hunger at the head of every street. Behold, O Yahweh, and consider, to whom have you done this? Should the women eat their offsprings, the children they have swaddled with their own hands? Should the priest and prophet be killed in the sanctuary of Yah? Young and old lie on the ground in the street. My virgins and young men have fallen by the sword. You have slain them in the day of your anger. You have killed and have not shown pity. You have invited as though to a feast day my terrors round about, so that on the day of Yah's anger there were none to escape or survive. Those whom I have swallowed and brought up, my enemy have devoured. That was the end of chapter 2.
Now, was that talking about what Ananias was talking about?
What was he talking about? Because if he's going to go into like the sixth verse and try to use that as a way that not to keep the Sabbath, I don't get it. Because like you said, it's talking. This is what happened in Zion. We talking about what to do in the land of our captivity. You know. So I mean, again, they try hard to give an excuse that we don't have to do the Sabbath. You know, I'm not sure it's because if they don't want to do it, maybe they're just reading it wrong. Like, okay, if if we are not in the land, how are we going to keep the feast days? I mean, that's what they always say, right? It says here that the Most High destroyed everything, and He said we're going to forget. Maybe they still forgot. Maybe they, but no. But you know what it is though. If the Bible keeps saying, "Come back with all your heart, with everything, with all your mind, with all your heart," it's telling you to come back, and we have the answer. We have the blueprint to come back. It's like you still stuck in destruction, and then when you think about it, if the Most High is showing us great
Yeah,
mercy, right,
it's not even talking about it. It's talking about the daughter of Zion.
right. Is okay. Is the daughter of Zion Israel or the whole? Who's the daughter of Zion? Since now that you bring it up,
Women
why
and
you bring that up? Oh, you talking about the woman? Okay, that's true. Yeah, I got you. But like I was gonna say earlier, if the Most High is showing us mercy, to me, isn't mercy is bringing us back to the law, statutes, and commandments, and that's because that's life. If the Most High is gonna bring us life that we
you
should
just
live
said
in,
so. You just hit it on the head. You hit it on the head. You just hit it on the head. That's exactly what Exodus 20:6 saying.
That's the wisdom in this whole understanding with on that. And mind you, when most of the time I don't even jump off mic and be like, "Hey guys, let's keep the dick jokes down and let's not get on this one person because you believe that it's the right thing to suck baby weenies and everything." I was just saying that just because it's like, yo, this is something that I don't think both sides really had the conversation like we having the conversation. Because like, okay, because we are in agreement, we could have a settled conversation and bring out a whole lot of scriptures and bring wisdom behind it. When we have conversation with those that oppose, it's like they're gonna jump off the mic. What about this? What about that? They could still have they from their point of view, they should have a calm conversation, bring out all their scriptures, and we just go back and forth and dialogue in a very calm way. Because we're supposed to be seeking the most high, in meekness and in humility. Not about who's right and who's wrong. It's like, okay, what's your position? Bring it out, get it out the system, and here's our position. And then if the argument is the contention is, but we are destroyed and our Sabbath will be taken away from us. That's why we can't keep it. Then hey, but then the most gonna show us mercy and bring us and it's bringing us back. So when he's bringing us back, how does that look like? And when the most says, "I will put you in," when he's gonna make us remember, and then we look at the commandment says that should not work. All these things came out before the ritual sacrificing, before burning of the incense, which only the high priest could do. But then we know that even King David was given, was able to put on the ephod and eat the showbread. So it's like, all right, we don't know who are Levites. And in fact, before even the Levites was given the charge to do all these rituals, wasn't at one point all Israel was going to become priests before they decided that they're not going to consecrate themselves to the Most High like the Levites will do? We were supposed to be a nation of priests. So check this out, right? In all logic and in all sincereness, right? Let's look at it from this point of view, right? Let's say, for instance, the Most High bring us back to our land, and we was to build the temple, but the Most High did not reveal who were the Levites of our future. Are we just not going to do the sacrifice because we don't know who the Levites are? We might say, you know what? Damn. All right. Well, the Most High didn't show who's Levites, but He did say you shall be a nation of priests. And like what's his name said, Menelik said, if we all do the Nazarite vow, if we all consecrate ourselves to the Most High, that is like keeping the Nazarite vow. So to some degree, what I'm getting is this, and this is what Menelik was getting at. We it's like the Most High made it simple, right? He said, "Whoever want to consecrate themselves unto me, take this vow." And we know that the firstborn was naturally given, that the firstborn of any family, male, was already like thrown into that vow. They had no choice, right? But it
Hmm.
said, but then it also said, anybody else want to consecrate themselves unto me? This is what you follow. So that charge was given for everybody to do if they choose to. And logic was saying like, hey, maybe we should all do it. because maybe if we all did, we would not go into captivity. But the Most High gave us that test. Let me see who's going to be. Let me see. Let me see who's going to choose. The Levite stepped in and said, "Yeah, we're going to do it. All right, boom. Okay, we're going to do this, do that." You know what I'm saying? Israel went off. Hey, we want a king. Ah, man, they idiots. I'm their king. All right. Well, listen. If I give you a king, if that king messes up, y'all gonna be jacked up. So you better hope you get righteous kings. David was like, man, anything I do, anything that I do is the Most High doing it. It's not me. It's the Most High. Oh man, I like this king. I like this David. Man, I'm gonna make a covenant with David. All y'all seeds that come after you, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bless them. But if they do my will, because David has some wicked sons, right? But right away it's like, David for me was the this is why the king's supposed to be. But now in the future, if we combine the high priest with and if the high priest represents the most high as Moses is, because they say Moses was the first king and was like the high priest, it's like we have all these examples of this is the way Israel's supposed to be to the Gentiles. But why wait? We're supposed to be doing that right now as we strive towards that. If we don't get put in our, if the kingdom of the Most High is not established with our generation, we got to pass it on to the next generation. Like every generation got to get better. The more things that's revealed, the more things that are being established, eventually we're going to have a generation of Nazarites if we go the right way, keeping the Sabbath, understanding how to keep it. Because the world is not going to, especially if we have communities where we can actually don't have to work for our enemies on the Sabbath day. You know what I'm saying? And we see how the little hats do it. The little hats made it so they don't have to do it because they have their money, they have things set up. We could have had that if we wasn't stuck in Christianity and going after Jesus. Damn, we been set up going after JC, goddammit. We could have been just like the damn smallheads in our own communities keeping our Sabbath. It's like, oh, they could do it because they're not the real people, so let them do it, whatever, whatever. And we over here, battling over JC. Nah, man, it's crazy. Well, I'm done talking. I gotta do some work around the house. I'll let you guys kick it.
Hey, brother Soul, if you're awake, bro, brother Scatter trying to come up. He might have fell asleep.
Yo, brother, so gonna have to mat up some of us because he be doing that. We be having a deep conversation. Cats can't show up. They gonna have to. I don't read the chat either, so I'm gonna have to mat up a second person to keep the room going.
Well, yeah, we want to save the replays too, because we'll be reading every night. So I hope you wake up and see it. I'll start up another room though, real quick, so we can bring up Scattered and everybody else. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Hey yo, yeah, I'm finna close this thing soon. We can hop in another room.
Yeah, man. Like, I just want everybody to come together. If you with y'all only come together. Like, why the fuck is you, man? I don't even want to say it, but I'm going with the righteous side, and I'm sticking by it. It's y'all only, and if they choose a Nazarite vow, so be it. Why the fuck is there? I don't, man. This shit is driving me crazy though. But I ain't going crazy because I know. Menelec, we know Isaac, brother Isaac, Michael, yeah, and we shouldn't be doing that to each other. I know Swift personally, and I know Nas. They from Chicago. I'm in Chicago too, but We gotta stick together. It's only a small sanctuary,
Hmm.
and if y'all choose to do a Nazarite vow, then so be it. And I love that.
Hmm.
We not doing that. No idols. Period. I'm right here in Chicago too. That's all I wanted to say. But
Now
I
you
heard
know
y'all because I was at work. I heard y'all because I was at work. And Ananias, no, we not no idol worship. Period.
Yeah, I got on his heels about that stuff that he did. That's them scriptures he brought out and misquoting the scriptures.
Yep, that's it.
we're gonna open up this whole room. That's a good thing to talk about. I think again, I think when it comes down, everybody has a certain style of teaching. You know what I'm saying? But even though we teaching, we really providing information. So let me not even call it teaching. I would say that we bring in information and we kick it back and forth to each other. I think he was trying to make a point where it's like let's go when we go deeper, like let's go when we really think about it on the deep level, like, hey, if we are supposed to consecrate ourselves to the most high, which is true, right? That we know there's different levels, right? But what we saying is that, hey, there's a level that deals with this and deals with that, you know what I'm saying? So I know what you're talking about because that kind of caused the room to blow up. But I wanted to hear why he said what he said. So that's why we gotta learn to do. Like when somebody here says something that's like, whoa, it's like, okay, where you coming at? Let me hear it. And let him bring
Far as that,
everything out.
Yeah.
far as
Basically,
that goes,
yeah, yeah. Trust me, I'm from Chicago. I know all about that gang banging shit. We not gang banging. We not going against each other. It's either Yah
uh,
only, Tanakh, Torah only. We're not doing it.
we're gonna
If these
get
brothers feel like they want to keep the Nazarite vow, or if they want to do the Torah only, period. That's why I'm here. We not gonna go against each other, bro. That's stupid.
yeah, that's
I've been through gang
stupid.
banging shit already.
You're right, scattered, and
I'm
we
with
all
you.
be.
I'm with you.
And them my boys too. And y'all my boys too. Period.
Hmm.
That shit ain't even supposed to happen. We supposed to be together. We small sanctuary anyway. Why the fuck is we arguing about some stupid shit? If somebody want to keep a Sabbath or whatever, or they want to keep a Nazarite vow, period.
Listen, well, hey, even when it
It's,
comes down to certain things, right? It's gonna be like your personal relation with the Most High. Like if you, because to me, if you're doing something and in your heart you're not feeling it, to me that's being lukewarm. And here goes my Christian in me, right? Being lukewarm and everything. To me, that's like you choose. If you feel comfortable doing it your way and you praying to the Most High,
We
and
can't make
to
them
me,
do
that
nothing. We can't make them do nothing.
right, we can't. Yeah, but if somebody, okay, I could tell you right now, SOG is on some. We gotta have one like
No,
doctrine.
no,
Like he
no, no,
doesn't
no,
get
no,
us
no,
have
no,
one
no, no,
particular
no.
doctrine.
Miguel. We're not gonna call out no names, but we will keep the righteous. Cause I fuck with you too, Miguel. You
No,
with us too.
I didn't say that in a negative way. You know, I didn't mean to call his name, but the conversation that I had with one brother when he told me, "Hey, I want to have like one doctor," I told him straight up, I don't know if we could ever really do that right now. There's a lot of things we don't see the same way, but we could still rock with each other. Just understand that we just don't see certain things a certain way. It don't bother me. To me, it's I'm living with a person that don't rock with me with everything I say. If I could live with my wife and we don't agree on everything, I could live with y'all brothers that don't agree with everything.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I brought him up because he wanted to say, "Yo, why can't we just have one truth?" Ah, to me, that's a hard one to do.
yeah, it shouldn't get this far. It don't make no
We
damn
shouldn't get
sense.
that far. I don't think we have to be that perfect, brother.
No, you can do you don't. But y'all trying to keep the Sabbath. Y'all keeping a vow, a Nazarite vow. I fuck with y'all. I fuck with them my people too. But we not gonna be fighting amongst each other. That's stupid. I already got out of the gang banging shit. I was a black stone in Chicago. I'm not doing that shit, bro.
Hey, brother, listen. I like my wine, and that's I ain't ready to give up my wine, but I don't know if it's all about the wine. Like I said, I don't know. Listen, when brother brought that out, I wanted him I wanted to hear the whole thing, because we trying to get out the level of the secrets of the deeper meanings. That's where we at with it right now. We know a lot, but let's keep getting deeper. You know what I'm saying?
Miguel, what I was thinking though, I was thinking we need to get those scriptures out about the Sabbath and keeping the Sabbath. 'Cause, a lot of our brothers is not. They don't want to keep the Sabbath because they feel like we're not in the land. Shouldn't you give your all to the Most High?
Con,
You consecrate it.
con.
That's all. That's
Painful
it.
to keep it. What's it hurting you if you do it? It
That
ain't
that's
hurting
that's
you at
the
all.
point we bringing out.
It's not hurting you at all. It's actually beneficial
I'm
to
gonna
you.
They
The right.
think
speak
it's
up.
keeping
I'm
us
gonna
from
speak up.
salvation.
I'm gonna speak up
Nah,
on
it's,
app. I'm gonna talk. I don't talk much. I don't say much, but I'm gonna speak up. And I'm on both. Them my brothers. Y'all my brothers. Period. And we a small nation. Not we ain't no small nation. We a small sanctuary, and we need to keep this because we ain't finna be going against each other like that.
Well, we definitely should not go against each other to the point where we are talking at each other and attacking each other. We have to come at each other with respect and with love. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I tried doing something like that with another brother outside of this group right now, and he called me all kinds of homos and weirdo, and I'm like, yo, I'm coming to you with Torah. I'm weird. I was like, you're weird, not talking with me, talking to me like a heathen. So shit happens. But am I going to block that brother and throw him away? No, I think he was just angry in his feelings, and I was like, wow, this brother's really going off, thinking that I'm attacking him. So shit happens. I ain't take
Nah,
it personal.
no, you ain't attacking them. You just spitting facts.
Right,
You know.
exactly, but he didn't want to hear it. Now I'm a homo because I'm saying I'm coming to you with meekness and with humility to try and clear the situation between you and the sister. Who are you? Are you a homo? Why you acting weird? Why you in my back channel? I'm like, you in the sister's back channel. So I'm in your back channel. You know what I'm saying? You looking crazy, talking to the sister, calling her all kinds of witches. You a witch. You this and that. I'm saying, yo, bro, cut that out, man. All she want to do is just clear up
Yeah.
disagreement, and he didn't want to hear it. It shit happens. We got a lot. We got a lot to do when it comes to, like, just getting past disagreements, man. I, you know what? Maybe I'm good at it because, my wife and I be banging at each other. So if I can bang with my wife, this is nothing, huh? For real.
Yeah, that's all. It ain't much. Brother Isaac, Metalec. I really do listen to y'all because I'm a beginner. Because I was uh Jose Cuervo crazy. I was Jose Cuervo crazy, but I ordered. I got the Tanakh, the Torah, and you know that's what I'm following.
Yeah. He said he gonna close this room so that we can stay on. Matter is gonna open another room, and maybe we get a chance to hear his where he was gonna lead us to when he said about the Nazareth vow. You know what I'm saying? I find it to be very interesting. I ain't got
I
no head.
love, I love, I love that these brothers are trying to keep that vow. Like, no, we're not gonna stop keeping it. We're gonna do this, brother Isaac, Menelek, Soul, Michael. We're gonna do this. We ain't doing nothing else. Fuck Timothy. Fuck Paul. Fuck all them. I don't even read that book no more. We're gonna be righteous.
That's the bottom line right there. And I believe that's where he was getting at. Like when we seeking the most out of our hearts and soul, let's look at all things. Let's look at all things that our ancestors did. You know what I'm saying? We have the blueprint. So I never gave him much thought, but I was like, wow, let me hear what he got to say. Like, you know, it started. I ain't gonna lie, this started rough.
Nah, bro, I ain't playing both sides. My side only the Lord. Period. I
That's
don't
the
give a
bottom
fuck.
line.
I ain't got no gang. I've been in the gang. My side is the Lord. Period. And if y'all want to keep that Nazarite vow, I don't. I ain't gonna say I don't want to, but
Hey, this is what I'm saying. Let's hear what the brother got to say first, because I really think it's not as crazy as it first sounded. Well, it blew up the room, so I know.
Miguel, Ananias.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God, I don't even want to speak on no other man. I'm getting money. I'm chilling. I got all boys. I got all boys. I gotta show them an example. I'm not on that bullshit. I only want the truth. That's it. So I can give it to them when I pass over.
Same thing.
Not to sound like that.
On the same thing. I'm not here to argue with a brother or make an enemy out of a brother. None
And
of that. Hold a grudge.
brother Isaac, you don't have to go back and forth with nobody. If that's what you really believe in, and that's what you really, you know, you don't have to go back and forth with nobody.
Yeah, I feel that. But when people want you to believe what they want, you know, they want you to believe what they believe, and then it's like that's where the contention comes. People can't just let bygones be bygones. Then they want to say you stupid, you don't read, and throw ad homs, and it's like, all right, bro. Well, Amos 3:3. Hell, being a Nazarite is being separated, consecrated, dedicated to the Most High, and if it ain't that, then it's like, all right. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm supposed to be separated anyway. So, I
right.
mean,
You consecrated. You don't got no
yeah,
business with that.
facts.
I done said it,
Yeah,
and I'm rolling with y'all. I'm rolling with them too. I don't choose no sides. I'm not doing none of that goofy shit.
We
I'm
right.
with both
I'm not
sides.
against none of my brothers. So that's
There comes a point though where it just gets repetitive, and it's like you just ain't even worth debating or discussing it because you already know people stand firm where they're at, and that's where they're gonna stand at. You stand firm where you're at, so just do what you're gonna do. Let people do what they gonna do, whatever, whatever. Don't have no grudges,
But
nothing. We
brother
can.
Saul,
What's up?
Salaki, brother Saul. I'm sorry. What's been on my mind lately though? We need to read more. All
Yeah,
of us. We need to read more.
Scatter,
Read
we
out
be
loud.
having rooms. So have rooms where brothers is reading, and everybody is not in there taking chances or taking turns to read. Look at who in the audience right now. It's one person. Everybody that we so called have differences with, they might pop in for a second, but they jump out and start a room. So I mean, who's reading and who's not reading?
yeah. I
I
be
mean,
pinking everybody.
we could cherry pick all day, but who's actually reading? Soul set this up. We all the way in Isaiah now. We started at Genesis, so it just shows you who actually want to read. But that's what I was saying. Amos 3:3. Either we gonna keep it cordial and pick another topic and talk to other people, or it's just gonna constantly be debating. And that's a spirit that I don't think we should be in, especially if we trying to uh not
Yeah.
polarize each other, but trying to point out our similarities and trying to come together. Like we polarizing when we do this, bro.
Right.
We polarizing when we talking about prophecy and we calling people ignorant and we don't read. Like that's polarizing. But when we have rooms
up
where
to
we
the
read and
most
it's
high.
like
It's up to the
people are
most high
lying.
to lift. It's up to the most high to lift the veil up off their eyes. We don't got. We don't got the. We don't got the thing to be calling nobody stupid or retarded or can't read or none of that. Because I know
Right.
multiple people that can't read. I know multiple people. I know people that can't read and got better understanding than the people that can read.
Michael, I'm right here with all the crackheads, all them. I don't want to call them that, but that's what they is. But yeah, we with people that can't read. We
It's about,
man.
it's about humbleness. And is you willing to take the truth? That's what it's all about.
Con.
It ain't about being
Yeah.
it ain't about
That's
being you better than this person or that person. You don't. No, it's not about that. Let's read. Let's read, and that's it. I love hearing y'all, brother Soul, Menelec, Isaac, Swift, Nas. I love hearing y'all.
Swift.
Talk about the Father.
Hmm.
God, yeah, and when we
hey
do read like this and it's recorded, it's like the people that can't read it. We got brothers that are blind, like six and stuff like that. Yo, they appreciate
Hey,
stuff like
Menelec,
that.
I
You know what I'm
got
saying? They
four
can hear
brothers
it and
under
whatnot.
me. I got nieces. I got sons. I want before I leave this place, I want them to know that's my goal. You want to know that? That's my goal. I want them to grasp to get this.
y'all, let's open another room and continue. I'm about to switch phones.
I'm
But
gonna open up real quick.
what's up? You gonna open one up, man? Look.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
All right, all right. I'll see you on the
Shalom.
Shalom.